Take a look. February 28th, 2024. I am Actual Pearl. It's time to get in the weeds. I am very much in a remote location. I'm just living and trying, and Jeremy Lambert's here. Good morning, Jeremy. How are you?
You're in a bunker, Joel. What is happening here?
I tried to use a different camera, but the camera was actually worse. I'm using a FaceTime camera now because when I'm on the road, I use a Mac, but when I'm at home, I don't. So that's been fun. So many things I could tell you right now. Y'all want some story time?
I mean, we got an hour to kill before Bob Anger joins us, and then we got time to kill before Alex McCarthy joins us. I mean, before we get into stories, Joel, the news just broke right before we came on air was that Mike Jones, better known to wrestling fans as Virgil in WWE, Vincent in WCW, Soul Train Jones in AEW, passed away. He passed away. This is from referee Mark Charles on Facebook. He passed away peacefully in his sleep. He's undergone a lot of health issues over the years, including dementia. He's diagnosed with dementia. So RIP to Virgil, because look, I don't know what memories you have of him, Joel. I will say for myself, the Soul Train Jones spot in AEW led to maybe the thing I'm most proud of that I've ever done in wrestling, which was when I attended Full Gear, which was the Saturday, Sunday, whatever day the event was on, after the Soul Train Jones spot, which was on a Wednesday on Dynamite. I went around and I asked wrestlers, hey, tell me about Soul Train Jones in AEW. And it's in video form, it's in written form. It's basically like the oral history of Soul Train Jones in AEW and like reactions to that. And that was something that I had the most fun with. And I got Jericho to comment because he was part of the scrum. So I got to ask him there. I remember asking Britt Baker when they did Starcast. They still had Starcast. So you could go around to the tables and like ask everybody questions. So I interviewed Britt. And the first question I asked her was like, what's up with Soul Train Jones in AEW? And she's like, huh? What? I thought we were going to talk about my match. And I'm like, we'll get to that, but I want to know about Soul Train Jones. And so she commented on it. Hangman Page was very fun with his comments. And SCU were fun. And Santana and Ortiz were like, this is the greatest start to an interview ever. Soul Train Jones. Yeah. Cause that was Inner Circle. So, they were part of the video package. They're like, oh, this is great. Soul Train Jones. He's been great in AEW. He's helped us out so much. So that was a really fun thing that I was able to do because of AEW, because they brought him in for that spot. So that's my kind of big memory of Virgil, Vincent, Soul Train Jones. But like, it was a legend in the wrestling sphere for one reason or another, whether he could, whether it was the pasta, the meat sauce, the what am I thinking of? The friggin' Italian chain, Joel. Olive Garden, yes.
I didn't know where you were going. I thought you were talking about like he does F Money. That was his other big thing.
Yeah.
I thought that's where you were going.
No, I couldn't think of the friggin' Italian chain. Yeah, Olive Garden. Whether it was anything like that, whether it was the character Virgil, the character Vincent, the character Soul Train Jones, it became a meme. But yes, Olive Garden breadsticks. Thank you, Redmond Survivor. It became a meme, but the Lonely Virgil thing was everyone always references that. So again, for one reason or another, a legend in wrestling.
So most people know I was a WCW kid growing up. I wasn't exposed to Virgil first. I was exposed to Vincent first. And I would watch NWO Vincent coming down and I'd be like, who the hell is this guy? He's just a guy. And of course, you do your research and you find out later on, he was Virgil and he had his career in the WWF beforehand, and the stuff he did in WCW was, largely WCW guy who ran around in an NWO shirt, and then later on ran around in a Rap is Crap shirt when he was hanging out with Kurt Hennig. So, yeah, he was one of a kind, and he. I think Sean's gonna talk about the interview that he did, the infamous worst interview Sean ever did, that we released once we hit 10,000 subscribers on Fightful Select. What a time that was, and you can tell that unfortunately at that point, Virgil was on the decline, and that sucked, and it had been for a while. So, it's awful knowing that he was on the decline for so long. There is a little bit of the bright spot being that he's not going to be in that pain anymore, but it sucks to lose a guy who really did have some legendary spots in this business, and for all intents and purposes always deserved more than he got. So we send our love to anyone who's ever been associated and a part of Virgil's circle. I can tell you personally, I do know the guys who managed him till the end, and I'm sure that it's affecting them as well today. So we send our love to everyone who's been around and been in Virgil's circle.
Yeah, condolences to again, the family, the friends, the fans of Virgil. It's always tough. We lost Ole Anderson earlier this week as well. So it's not been the best week for wrestling and deaths, losing two back to back like that.
Yeah, it's unexpected, and I don't want to say it out loud, but I know people are thinking it comes in threes. So hopefully I'm wrong here, but it is something that does kind of weigh on the minds of others as we get to through the week, and it's midweek and it's Wednesday, and like you said, Bob Anger is going to join us in about 50 minutes here on.
You're muted, Joel. You've muted yourself.
Pull back the curtain. My focus.
Now you just sound weird. Joel's struggling, folks. He's struggling.
Hold on. How are we doing? We still okay?
I mean, you sound different, but like you're here.
Why? And we're back.
A little bit.
As back as we're going to be. We'll pull back the curtain. I'm using a Scarlett 2i2. This is my original recording device. The original thing I use. It's an audio box, essentially.
Okay.
Plug in your microphone, go to work. Yeah, I'm a professional podcaster. This thing has a little bit of a faulty USB in it, so sometimes the power is a little wonky, and then it's going to turn off and on. I'm going to do my best. I apologize in advance. I was going to say I'm going to peel back the curtain, but let me get that plug out of the way. Bob Anger joins us at 11 a.m. Our Drew McInsider, Alex McCarthy, joins us at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. We're going to talk to him about, obviously, the report yesterday that started with whether or not Drew McIntyre has signed or re-signed with WWE. Spoiler alert, he has not as of this time. But we're going to talk to Alex McCarthy about that. And, of course, he was in Perth, Australia for the Elimination Chamber, so we'll get his thoughts on the live experience there. And just why the hell that Englishman went to Australia. What were they thinking? Why did he get to go and not us? So looking forward to that, 11:30. So, okay, you want some story time?
Sure.
All right. So first of all, I do hope y'all leave a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the channel, because that's what we do here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Normally not in a bunker, and of course some super chats. That goes a long way. So most people know I'm in Ottawa because my dad has not been super duper well. Let me make it even a little bit more fun.
Yeah, this story is not going to go too well.
Oh, this is how it's going to go every 5 minutes of that. Everything is.
Nope, nobody can hear you, Joel. Great, we got a great show for everybody. Andrew Zarian, you got time today?
You know what? Can I just talk into the laptop speaker like this?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry. It's gonna suck.
You're not going to be happy with the audio because you're a perfectionist, but like
I am.
It's better than apparently this microphone that I can also doing well.
I can also clean that up in post. That's the good thing. Yeah, send Zarian a link. We'll bring him on. Okay. Laptop mic sounds clear. Great, wonderful. Yeah. Okay, let me tell you all what's going on. So I'm in Ottawa. My dad hasn't been super duper well, but
I'll preface this story with everything's okay and it's for the best. I got a call on Tuesday night that he is in the hospital. So my dad is currently in the hospital, but it's good news because whatever was a problem is being checked out, and he is being looked at, and the news is mostly positive. So my world is a little flipped upside down because my original plan was to be here. Stop it. Was to be here seeing my family and helping out at home. But now, of course, everything has changed because now it's hospital visits and, my mom and I just kind of keeping the house afloat. So, so my world is just like in a different spot than originally planned. So everything's cool. Everything's fine. But I'm here in Ottawa because that was always the plan. But the plan got kind of twisted a little bit. So, so I'm a little behind. I apologize in terms of the wrestling talk, but we're going to do our best as we always do. And when Andrew Zarian joins, he'll make it even worse, I'm sure.
Well, I'm glad your dad is doing better, doing okay. Everything's good. That's good to hear, Joel. Hopefully it stays that way. And then what else is going on?
You want to send Andrew Zarian the link? Because I can't right now.
Do we?
Yeah, send it to him.
What? I mean, we could. I'll send Andrew Zarian the link.
I was gonna say, what you want to do this on your own? What are we doing here?
I might have to on Friday. I thought you could hack the stream. Why do I gotta send him a link?
Well, once in a while you gotta, we're from an undisclosed location, so sometimes you gotta figure it out. And he's like, "Fine, don't. No, do it anyway."
No,
someone's got to save this show because it ain't gonna be me.
We want Andrew Zarian here.
We do. Oh man. So Sean Spears is back.
Ryan sends the super chat, says, "I'm here for the technical difficulty. Sending y'all the best as always. Shout out to Papa Pearl." Right,
thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you.
Sean Spears is back. That was a big surprise. I did not see that. Yeah.
A lot of people were expecting that to be Tian Sha or Tamatanga or
you were expecting
Tian
Shaw. No one else was.
No, that's not true. Alex and Kate over on our Sour Graps post show were expecting Tian Sha with a Wendy Chu experience.
So well, good for them. All right, let's save this show. I think someone's got to.
Who's doing this?
Hello.
I'm pinch hitting. Am I pinch hitting today?
More or less, yeah. How you doing, buddy?
Good, Joel. I'm so sorry. I just listened. I came in to bust your chops a little bit. I was like, "Where is he?" And then you started talking about your dad, and I'm glad I didn't hit send.
You can still bust my chops again. Like, we're cool. I'm sitting in what is effectively his office in my parents' place, and like my plan was either to be here or to be like in one of the areas of their condo where I could also use the internet. So this is just like everybody kind of wins here.
All right, it worked out. I'm glad he's getting whatever they're addressing it, whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good that he's being checked out.
Yeah.
Someone's asking if we put on a bad performance, are we allowed to boo? No. In fact, you're supposed to send us more money to make it better.
You can boo. What is this about? Why? Who got booed?
I don't know. I thought that was a Frankie Kazarian. You can boo me now. Senior Nerd is a huge TNA fan now.
I mean,
Frankie Kazarian, he's one of my people, I think.
No, he's SoCal.
Oh, he's SoCal. Okay.
Trying to think.
Uncensored.
Yeah.
No. I think he's one of my people.
White.
The last name.
Oh, those people. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
He's a Kazarian.
Yeah. People saying your beard looks thick this morning with two C's.
Does it? You know what I got, dude? And I haven't used it yet. And I'm going to little insight on my life. I got this. The Just for Men beard filler.
Yeah. Is that?
I have so many grays now in this beard. It's unbelievable. The last year I've gotten so old.
You and me both, pal.
That's what kids do.
Mine's getting there. I'm just letting it go. I don't care. The hair is going a little bit more gray.
Oh my god.
And the beard.
My Saturday Night's Main Events. My sign just died.
Oh. No. It's okay.
Matt. apparently Maxine Dupree got booed at a house show.
Sure.
Well, she's trying. Bless her. She's trying.
Exactly. She's very popular, and that's all I got to say about that.
Well, apparently not. If she's getting booed at a house show.
I didn't say how she was popular.
Oh, she's trying.
Yeah.
Zarian, what's the update on the AEW Dynamite logo? That's all anybody wants to talk about.
I showed you what I saw, right?
Oh, I know, but I can't reveal this information to the masses.
Yeah. So I had seen the logo a couple weeks ago, and they're doing a whole overhaul of everything next. I think the 6th, right? That's the show with the new set.
Yeah, next Wednesday.
So they're getting everything brand new. I think maybe a new theme. I think that was. I
They're
don't
no longer
know.
going to light the fuse.
I don't know. Maybe I got to go back in my notes. But I had seen that graphic, and then they kind of scooped their own graphic on their website by posting the Canadian flyers. And it's the same font, but the one that I have is flat with and it's not white. It's like a spectrum of the AEW, colors.
Yeah.
So that's like the blue and the orange.
It reminds me, I could not put my finger on it, but I feel like it's like a WrestleMania arcade acclaimed kind of logo, or like an old SummerSlam logo. I feel like that's the closest thing I can think of.
Yeah, the Acclaim logo makes sense. Like I can see the appeal there.
Yeah, it really pissed me off yesterday after I saw it. I was like, what does this look like? And then no one could give me an answer.
Yeah.
Let me see if I could share this with you, Joel. I didn't share this with you.
If anyone heard that ping, that was Andrew Zarian sending me scoops.
Yes. I have to message both of you so I could have Jeremy on top of Joel so I could drag the image, because I'm an old person. I have no idea how to use technology anymore.
Have you considered maybe putting us in a group chat since we all use Apple devices?
Yeah, we should have.
Do we? Do we all have? Oh, yeah, we should have a group chat.
Oh, my God. That is glorious, that logo.
Isn't that beautiful?
In some ways, it absolutely is.
But I do not believe they are going to use that.
Cowards.
I have after a conversation yesterday, I don't think they're going to use this version of it. And it's funny because the person I was speaking to, he's like, or she, or they, or whatever, goes, I know where you got that image. I said, oh, he goes, I know where you got it. It's like, don't you dare say a word to anybody.
You got it from Bryan Danielson.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a great Bryan Danielson story about Dave Meltzer cornering my wife and asking my wife if I know if Danielson's going to be on All In, All Out.
Oh, we either told this story or we talked about it. Yeah.
Virgil passed away. I don't know if you guys discussed it.
Yeah,
we opened the show with that. Any memories of Virgil from you?
I was a huge Virgil fan. SummerSlam '91. Huge Virgil fan. Very into him and Ted DiBiase in the feud. And Rich actually has an unbelievable Virgil story about how he was at Comic-Con. He was 19 years old. He was at Comic-Con. And Virgil followed him and his friend Alex for the entirety of that Comic-Con, demanding $20.
That sounds right.
And he got it. They gave him $20 to get him to go away. And he was just doing that to everybody that was there. Like if you were by him with a camera and you took a photo, even not of him, he would come up. He's like, "No, you owe me $20 now. You took a picture."
Yeah, $20. That's he was at Pittsburgh Dynamite. I'm pretty sure it's Dynamite. It had to be Dynamite. Jared Bailey was there as well, and he was just chilling at the concessions, walking around the arena concourse and stuff. Yeah, just like take a fan, $20. That man was hustling. That man was getting $20 one way or another. Gotta respect it.
Yeah, listen, there's a hustle.
So Speed Punk is say, remember Joey Janela? Joey Janela is the one who got Virgil the Soul Train Jones spot. Because when I was told the story of like I asked everybody about Soul Train Jones, Joey Janela was one of those people. I was like, "Hey, Joey, what did you make of Soul Train Jones coming to AEW?" And Janela's like, "Yeah, I'm the one who called him up to do this, people were like, does anybody have Virgil's number? And Janela's like, I do. And so Janela was the one who called him and got that spot. Janela's got everybody's number. When Janela's on the show with us, we made reference to that. Joey Janela just knows everybody and can book anybody. So
there's only one person he can't. There's only one person, and we're trying.
Sid. Oh man,
we're trying. Sid. We're trying, baby.
Yeah.
You're trying to get Sid on the show?
I mean, we'll
take Sid, sure.
I would love
He's a master of the universe.
Yeah, and
ruler
baseball.
Of the world.
Yep.
Ruler of the world, master of the universe, ruler of the world. Love Sid. We're trying to get AJ Francis on the show to battle rap me, but he's ducking me. Doing all these other podcasts.
He's got bars for everyone but us.
Does he have bars for everyone?
I mean, he tries to have bars for everyone but us. He speaks on microphones for everyone but us. Is that better? So Sean Spears is back in WWE.
So he is Sean Spears, right?
Yes.
That seems to be it, yeah. I think
he
something
is Sean Spears.
He is Sean Spears. He is I don't know if he's the chairman, Sean Spears.
I mean, he used the chair.
He did.
Do you see Cody? Oh, forget it. Bless Sean Spears, but Cody taking chair shots back for the boys again, just walloping that man with a chair.
That's what we do.
Big old bump on the side of his head.
Poor guy.
Fucking Cody just did not care at all. I love a good chair throw, by the way. One of the most underrated moves in wrestling. I always love Sabu and RVD. Just throw the damn chair at somebody's head. Great.
Yeah, you can't always get the chair in time. You kind of can't catch it on time.
Well, the good.
That's what I'm saying. It's good. Yeah.
I love a good. When Braun Strowman launched the chair at Roman's head, they did that with Imperium earlier this year, just launching it at Kofi's head. Love it. Love just a great chair throw to the head.
You know what I wouldn't have minded? I wouldn't have minded if they do the reveal last night and they say, oh, that's Ty Dillinger. And then he comes out the next week and he's like, no, that's not me. That's who I used to be. Now I'm Sean Spears. Because WWE loves to do that whole, you don't know him or her from the outside. Yeah. So now you're going to know, this new character by reintroducing the old one. It's a little thing, but those are things that I wish they would do in this case. But I understand if they're going to try a new direction. I don't think people are going to be looking at Sean Spears and be like, no, that Ty Dillinger guy, I'm not too sure. No,
they did some 10 chants last night.
Yeah. They know, and I'm sure he's going to heal the crowd and just be like, yeah, that guy was stupid. I don't like that guy. This is me. And then that's probably how they'll get out of it.
Man, I think he does like that guy. I do think.
Who? Ty Dillinger?
I think he likes the 10 gimmick. I think he likes just the ease of the chant and everything. Because he kind of
even do it.
Well, even in AEW, he was still getting those chants and he was being perfect 10 and everything. He likes, everyone likes the ease of the chants, right? I mean, Danielson, bless it, he's the GOAT, but even he's like, yeah, you know what? Let me get these yes chants going here. That's just easy call and response stuff.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to do a lot more in AEW.
So did he.
I think a lot of people did after here's my Ty Dillinger, Sean Spears story. So we're going back to the Full Gear media scrum or Starcast again. I got a lot of stories from this thing. So I was not comfortable interviewing back then, especially in-person interviews, not comfortable at all. You could probably argue I'm still not very comfortable, but in person, I really felt in over my head with some stuff, especially once I got past the Soul Train Jones question. I was like, eh. So I interviewed Sean Spears, and this is Full Gear. So he had lost to Cody at this point. And I was like, what'd you think of that match? Do you think that should have gone differently? Because I think everybody thought he kind of should have just beat Cody or at least looked a little better in that match. Because after he lost to Cody, it's like, all right, well, where do you go after this? You've lost this match. I was like, do you think that should get on differently? He's just like, oh, I tried. I tried to win. All right, Andrew Zarian had a call to take. I don't know if I should specifically say that, or he was just so offended by this story. He's like, fuck this, I'm out of here. So you're muted, Joel. You're muted.
I muted myself. Can it be both?
It could be both. Yeah.
Okay.
So I asked him, I was like, do you think you think that match should have gone a little bit differently? Like, do you think you should have won? He's like, well, I tried to win. I was like, fuck. I was very thrown off. Like he was going to kayfabe me on this. And I did not, again, I was not comfortable. Like this was before I did any shows. This was before I did like anything. So I was super uncomfortable just in that setting. And I could not rebound after that. It was like a 2-minute interview. I don't think I got anything out of him. I think he was a little offended by how I framed the question and everything. It just wasn't good. But yeah, I asked him like, hey, do you think you should have won that one? And he's like, well, I tried to win. I was like, all right, well, I should have been like, do you think you should have tried harder?
That's when you got to have like 2 lanes of questions, right?
Yeah.
It's so frustrating sometimes as media interviewing people, we're like, we have to have the kayfabe questions and we have to have the non-kayfabe and we have to see who's going to answer what. And that's one of the more like annoying parts of the job is trying to navigate who wants to answer what. And this is why like I'll put over a Dominic Mysterio who will ask, what do you want? Do you want Dom or do you want me? Do you want like human being Dominic? And when you give them the answer, then you know where you're going to go with your questions. So it's easier when they tell you, but they're not always going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't ask beforehand. I just went into it and it didn't go well for me. I don't know if there's actual audio of that because I didn't do video interviews. It would have just been recorded on my phone. I probably have the audio somewhere. It's probably in a cloud somewhere. But yeah, it didn't go well. He's back in NXT now. I think a lot of people in AEW, he was a Cody guy. Everyone knows he was a Cody guy. After he lost to Cody, it didn't do a whole lot. The Tully thing didn't really go anywhere. The Pinnacle should have revived them a little bit, and it did. It revived them. But then he just got, after the Pinnacle split, he was just done. Like, Wardlow beat him up. That was kind of the end of that. He kind of sort of had an attachment still to Max, but like Max didn't care. It didn't care on screen. If you listen to Dax off screen, it didn't really care about the Pinnacle with that either. So it didn't go anywhere. They did the return in like Canada, and then it just kind of flamed out after that. But he's a good. What Cody said it. It's offensive. A good hand, solid hand. Sean Spears, Ty Dillinger. But I don't feel like that's a knock. That's what he is. He's safe. He works well. He can get stuff over. Is he a main event guy? Anybody's a main event guy if you try to push him to that spot. I just don't think they're going to be pushed to that spot. That's okay. Like, you need guys like Sean Spears around. I think he could be helpful in NXT as they continue to toe the line between developing and being a third brand.
He's a player coach, and he's a great player coach. This is, remember back in 2012 with NXT, that's what Regal was doing. Regal's last matches were him as a player coach, and then he moved to a full-time, behind the scenes role. That's something that they can do with a guy like Sean Spears. If he's a good hand, that's great for longevity. That's the one thing I always dislike is people say, JR coined it. He said, if you call a good hand, it's a kiss of death. Well, it's not, because it's only the kiss of death if you are actively trying to be number one in the business, which is difficult in and of itself. Being labeled a good hand means you're trusted. It means that you have the possibility of going further in this business than a main eventer who might go for 5 years on top. Just because you're main eventing doesn't mean you're going to be laying out matches or doing the best work, post main event run. If you're a good hand, then you get everything. And therefore you're more usable and more, you can do more while you have your time in wrestling. That's why I've always been bugged by the good hand being a bad thing. For your immediate money, maybe, but for your long-term and maybe even your health, you're going to keep your job and you're going to get paid. And Chi-Town Spurs also pointed out a good point with Sean Spears. He lost his mom and then he had his kid around the same time. That, he's a family guy. He said it himself. He wanted to be there for his family. These were important moments in his life. And did that maybe affect his positioning in AEW? It could have. But again, the show goes on and you can't just wait for someone to come back, especially when there's no timing for a return.
Weisobel says people shit on guys like Spears, but you need guys like that on your depth chart to feed your stars and elevate your younger talent. Exactly. Like I assume that's what he's going to be there for NXT. Well, he's got flatbacks with Tyler Breeze. They've turned out some good talent from there. Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks. She mentioned she'd been training there, and while she prepares for her return here in a few weeks. But Flatbacks is a reputable school that Breeze and Spears run and just help everybody get ready, and people speak highly of it. Spears can help in a lot of ways, whether it's in-ring stuff, whether it's crafting a character. The 10 stuff got over. I mean, say what you will about it. Maybe it wasn't for everybody, but it got over. It was an easy chant to do, but it was a connection. And like that's what you need in wrestling. Could they have gotten more out of it? Maybe. But it's also a gimmick that was gonna almost pigeonhole you into one certain spot. But that spot was a nice mid-card role that he could have probably filled it a little bit more than he actually did. It's a good spot for him. He'll help people. Guys, we've talked about Virgil. I mean,
we opened the show with it. It was the top of the show.
Yeah. We're not gonna spend an hour talking about Virgil. We've shared stories. If you guys want to share some stories, you're more than welcome to. But please, we love our audience. Please stop asking, hey, please talk about Virgil. Like we did that.
We did.
That was the top of the show.
Yeah. And a lot of people will be piping in with their memories of Virgil throughout the next time, throughout their shows as well. So we're not attacking anyone. We're just letting you know if you're
I apologize if that came off harsher than it needed to be. My bad. That's on me.
You need to be meaner to the chat, Jeremy.
No, I actually like our chat. Usually I hate all wrestling fans. I like our chat. The Discord. You were all in the Discord yesterday. I was like, I'm not reading all this shit.
I had hours to kill.
Clearly. Do something better with your life.
I was sitting on a train. What else was I going to do? Play my Switch?
I don't know. Yes.
Probably should have played my Switch, yes.
I don't know. Get some work done.
I was getting work done. Did you see the thumbnail for today? That is a great looking at thumbnail.
Messages. Is it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's fine.
It did. I was able to do some new stuff with Photoshop that I haven't been able to do yet.
Okay. Hey, it's fine. It's fine.
Anyway, so you know how we have a never-ending saga with Moose in that interview we did?
Yeah.
I'm going to add one more layer to this one, and this is a very funny one. You know how we took Moose to task about the "there will be blood" comments?
Yeah.
So I got a message yesterday from someone at TNA, and this was very interesting.
Danielson.
It was Brian Danielson, who was working TNA for one night, and he said to me, the reason why there was no blood is because of the Louisiana Athletic Commission. They don't allow blood.
Oh.
And I said, well, then why was Moose saying that there would be blood? He's like, well, he probably didn't know, and he didn't find out until Friday morning.
Oh.
And I was like, where was our interview? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why there was no blood at No Surrender at all, but especially in the match where Moose said there will be blood. And so I'll go back and I'll say, if you did watch that match, they were very innovative with how they got their move set off and how they did any spots. They were very very smart and very innovative. It was fun.
I didn't take his comments of like we're gonna have blood in the match. I was waiting for a Daniel Day-Lewis cameo.
I don't think that was going to happen.
Never came. That's what disappointed me.
They've got a lot of money, but they don't have Daniel Day-Lewis money at TNA.
Well, they should learn to spend on Daniel Day. Who else was in that film that they could have gotten?
I don't remember. There Will Be Blood was like 2012.
There Will Be Blood was
2007. Oh dear.
Yeah, you're way off.
A few years there.
Paul F. Tompkins? They gonna get him?
I mean, probably. That's easier.
I feel like they could have gotten Paul F. Tompkins. I don't know half these names. They're not Vin Diesel, or The Rock, so I don't know who they are.
Oh dear. So speaking of The Rock, he's going to be on Friday Night SmackDown for the next 3 weeks.
Paul Dano. People seem to be big fans of Paul Dano. I don't know who that is.
Is that Paul Dano? Are we talking about the original vocalist for Iron Maiden?
Huh? What is Iron Maiden?
Exactly. Someone saying he would be a beast, like The Number of the Beast, one of the albums by Iron Maiden.
What is Iron Maiden?
Someone else is a big Paul Diano guy. There you go. See? Good old Paul Diano.
Oh, Paul Dano was in The Girl Next Door. He was Klitz. Oh, shit. All right. I know who this is now.
Of all the spots and all the people, that's who you go for.
Dude, Girl Next Door was ahead of its time. That's we hope to achieve the success of Girl Next Door with Mac and me. All right? That's what we hope to level up to.
Maybe if Drew McIntyre doesn't re-sign with WWE, he can star in our remake, and we'll call it Drew Mac and Me.
Do you think McCarthy? Well, we're gonna hit McCarthy with this bit. He's gonna know, gonna have no idea what the hell we're talking about. It's gonna be great.
Paul Dano was the Riddler? That's amazing.
There you go.
Oh man.
Apparently he was in a bunch of shit. Bless him.
Oh, that's good stuff. Kaiju Thunder sent a super chat saying, this one's for Jeremy, because I don't matter. Which wrestlers from AEW and WWE would you like to see in the Fast and Furious franchise? Now I understand why it's for
all right. I'm gonna give you a legit answer. Orange Cassidy. He talks about Fast and Furious. Like he's like, I study Fast and Furious. I wanted my entrance. Like the cartoon drawings, like he does those, and he's like, yeah, I watched Fast and Furious, and I just wanted like dudes swinging from helicopters and stuff. Orange Cassidy is who I want in the Fast and Furious franchise. If we ever have Orange Cassidy on the show, I don't give a shit about talking wrestling with him. I just want to talk Fast and Furious films with this man. That's all I care about.
I mean, he probably won't care to talk about wrestling with us either. So
yeah, good.
Pull out your questions about architecture. Pull out your questions about Fast and Furious. Let's go.
Fast and Furious, yes. That's all I want to talk about with
Ryan Lambert. Ryan Lambert sent a super chat saying, just have Johnny Swinger as Daniel Day-Lewis. Let's go. Swingman, I miss you. I hope you're well. I miss talking about Swingman on my post shows.
Chi-Town Spurs knows what's up. He said Orange Cassidy as well. Man of taste. Man of taste.
Oh my gosh. All right, what else do we have? We started talking about Drew, but we'll save the Drew stuff really for when our Drew McInsider is with us at 11:30. And about 20 minutes, we're going to have Bob Anger from IWS joining us. I am in the middle of nowhere. I apologize, people, but we're doing our best. I want to talk about Raw. Was there anything from Raw that we really have to get into? Cody Rhodes is attacking people.
Yeah, Grayson Waller should have won. That was a shame. Cody Rhodes and throwing the chair rules. I like the Seth and Drew promo. Yes. That was really good. What else happened on Raw?
The Becky Sammy opening, that was a good match.
Yeah, and then they did the Gunther tease, and then they did Gable as well. Gable wanted to go after and still finish his story.
And then they dropped the Gable video the next morning, so they're leaning in heavily to who do you want to see Gunther face, and they're leaning heavily on Gable now. So I think they're going to try and do Gable sometime in March on a big card, and then do Sammy at the last minute, or maybe they'll do Gable versus Sammy in a number one contendership match, and get whoever winner gets Gunther. I don't know. Who do you think should be the guy like to face Gunther? Should it be Sammy? Should it be Gable? Who's hotter right now, or who has the opportunity to be hottest?
I think Sammy will be the hottest because there's already the connection there from last year and not winning the world title. Gable's heated up, but cooled down a little bit. Now they're trying to reheat him. They did this stuff with Judgment Day as well. So I don't know where that's going, if it's going anywhere. People are saying, maybe you do a multi-man match. I almost think the US title could be a multi-man match as well. You got Logan, Randy, LA Knight, AJ Styles. I mean, maybe they're just doing Randy against Logan and LA Knight against AJ in singles matches. Those are possibilities. They got options with a lot of this stuff, which is good. Kevin Owens has got to fit in potentially US title as well. Like, I don't know where KO fits on there. So they got options. Bonker's saying Sammy needs something bigger than the Intercontinental title now, but like he's not going after the undisputed title. He's not going after the heavyweight title. Like, what's bigger?
there's no reason to put Sammy in the World Championship match now because they're making it very Drew heavy.
Yeah.
It's Drew, and if the champion isn't the story and the challenger is, then you don't want to water it down with another challenger. That's how you step into WrestleMania 35 territory and you introduce Charlotte Flair and it becomes a triple threat. And people are like, well, no, this was the story about the man, not about the Flair. Like, what are we doing? So I would rather they stick to a one-on-one match with Drew and figure out what Sammy's story would be going into Mania.
Yeah.
Gable, the thing with Gable is that they gave him the shot. I'm talking on TV. I'm not talking him personally. They gave him the shot. He didn't win. I get that there is a I want to do it for my daughter kind of feeling with his story right now, but like to me, that's not enough. You can get me to the point where that's enough. But right now, the introduction being like, I'm doing it for my family because I want to be a big man for my family and be a champion. Okay. You got a bit of a ways to go versus Sammy. So maybe you can reverse it. Sammy, blows off early and he gets the match in March. And then Gable gets the championship match at Mania. Is it a big enough moment for Gable to win the title? Yes. What do you do afterwards to make the Intercontinental title still matter? Because it matters a lot right now, given the longevity of the champion, the stature of the champion. In the WWE world where the Giants are king, going from a guy who is very tall and very, imposing as an individual to Gable, who looks very different, is a bit of a shock to some fans. So I'm just wondering, like, is it going to work if you have Gable take the title?
Shutdown Spurs says, if it a four-way for IC title protects Gunther is the move, then he slots right into the main event picture for the Germany show.
I don't want to protect Gunther. I don't want to protect him.
He needs to lose one-on-one.
And he's fine with that too. Like that, everyone was asking, will you just drop the title and move to the world title picture? He's like, no, I'm traditional. When I lose this title, I lose this title. And he's the kind of guy where if he loses one match and loses the championship, no one's going to be like, oh, he can't go for the world title now. Guess what? You just did 600 plus days as your Intercontinental champion. Why wouldn't you get the opportunity to move up from there? Should he get the title first, like immediately, the title shot? No. But he should be able to very quickly have like one number one contendership match and be in the world title picture.
Bonker saying I want to do Summer with Sammy, then Gunther can win at Bash in Berlin. I think Sammy's the move. I think Sammy beating Gunther is the move. And then you could do like Sammy and Gable's babyface, but I'm okay with that. A little edge on Gable, I don't think hurts either. I think Sammy's the move at WrestleMania. I think it's one-on-one as well. I wouldn't do a multi-man match unless you're going to do a multi-man match and you pin Gunther. Gunther's got to take the L here. Yeah. His title reign's gone on too long to where it can't be multi-man match. Gunther doesn't take the L and then he's just like, all right, time to move on. Like that title, he has spoken very highly of that title and spoken just very highly of what it means to him and carrying the belt and being the tradition, being the workhorse and everything. For him to just potentially lose in a multi-man match and then be like, all right, whatever, time to move on. I don't like it. He's got to lose it. And then he can win a match or two he can win a fucking contenders match, tournament, whatever,
sure,
to set up the world title thing. He loses the Intercontinental title clean. You don't even have to heat him up again. He's hot.
Yeah.
But he loses the title and then he wins a contender stuff. People will fully buy that. It'll be fine.
He can easily do something like lose the Intercontinental Championship the next night on Raw or whatever, the Monday on Raw, take out Kaiser and Vinci and be like, I'm pissed. I'm done. I want my world title. And then you just heated up a Gunther off of a loss immediately. Sean in the chat points out that Gunther submitted to Ilya Dragunov for the UK title. And then he immediately went to NXT US and went after Braun Breaker. So it's like, it's not impossible. your champion looks hot now.
Yeah, people are gonna buy Gunther regardless.
Yeah.
He can lose, and then like, all right, I did my duty with that title. You know, congrats to Sami Zayn, whoever. He was the better man on that night. Now I'm going after this bigger title. Samoa Joe essentially did that. I mean, he didn't drop the ROH TV title. He dropped it.
He dropped it on the ground.
Yeah, he dropped it. But that's what it was. Like, all right, I've done everything I can with this belt. Time to move on from this and set my sights on this. Like, it will be fine.
I really want people to temper their expectations when it comes to the Bash in Berlin show. Look at what the last paid shows have given us. Yes, Rhea Ripley, who was home, retained her women's championship. Yes. Sami Zayn and Montreal did not win the world championship. And whenever they go to someone's home, like they're going to be in France, they're probably not going to find a French wrestler to win the world title. It's going to be a spotlight match, but I don't expect Gunther to be like the big winner, champion, whatever. They can give a championship match, but I don't know if that's going to be the crowning moment for him. They could have him lose in the undercard. If Cody's in the show.
Joel, answer this question.
Jeremy, what Fast and Furious movie star is pinning Gunther for the title? Or Joel, what music star is pinning Gunther? Music star to pin Gunther. Let's have Kerry King from Slayer.
Fuck is that?
Gunther. You look up Kerry King.
No.
Okay. If you look up Kerry King, you'll see who I'm talking about.
Okay, the correct answer for you is Bad Bunny. And what Fast and Furious star is pinning Gunther? Here's the scenario, Joel. Okay. Imperium.
Luda for both.
That'd be fantastic, actually. That'd honestly. I respect that, Louis. Here's the scenario, Joel. Imperium's in the ring at WrestleMania, right? They're doing Imperium things. We respect the mat. The mat is sacred. That's what they do, right? Disagree. Yes, thank you. They're all in the ring. Then it goes, if you smell, and The Rock comes out. And The Rock is like, which one of you Rudy Poo jabroni candy asses is The Rock going to have to take down? And then it's Vinci. And The Rock pins Vinci in 6 seconds. He breaks his own record. And he wins the Intercontinental title like that. That's a callback to a callback to a callback to a callback.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
My favorite, though, is that he's going to come out and people will be like, music star The Rock? The guy who sang Pie? And
also a music star. Correct.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, he did the Pie, but he also did it's about drive, it's about power, it's about hunger, we the power.
I was also thinking about the song you did with Wyclef, It Doesn't Matter.
That was a good song.
That was great. WWF The Music Volume 5.
The Rock's multi-talented, man.
He is. That's why he's the man. That's why he's going to win the world title. That's why he's going to beat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
He should. Be great.
That's
not the title that has the big WWE logo on it, though. So he's not going to carry that thing around. He's going to rebrand it. He's gonna win that title, and then he's going to rebrand it, and it's going to be the TKO title. So then you got the WWE logo, and then you got the TKO logo as well, since he's the chairman.
They already have a TKO belt.
They do have that. Well, that's what he's going to start using. He's going to be like, you know what? The WWE World Heavyweight title. This title's meaningless because it's been around for like 8 months, and who really cares? This is bigger. This is bigger than the WWE, brother. This is the TKO universe. He's gonna have the big old TKO title. He's gonna go to all UFC events with this belt and shit. It'd be great.
I'm all for it. Now that I think about it, I want it more and more.
He's gonna have the Zoa energy with him. This is BDE. This is Big Dwayne energy with the TKO title.
BDE, TKO, WWE, LOL.
Zoa. It's all 3 letters.
All 3 letters. The world is going to hell.
Terramana. That's not 3 letters.
No, but he'll find a way to make it 3 letters.
Yeah.
It'll be like TRA or something.
So it's all 3 letters. So yes, this is what's gonna happen at WrestleMania. This is so much better than whatever the hell they're gonna do.
I don't think
The Rock beating Seth Rollins.
Who needs that? Who needs WrestleMania when you can have The Rock just do all 3 hours?
The Rock should. Rock honestly rules, to be honest.
the big flaw in what I just said was saying that WrestleMania was going to be 3 hours.
Yeah, that's a 5-hour show.
Oh God, 2 nights of 5-hour shows. We're gonna be talking about that, I guess.
See, the Rock's gonna have the TKO title. Roman, he's gonna beat Cody because he should. He's gonna keep the undisputed Universal title, and they're just gonna run this shit, man. They're never gonna show up. It's gonna rule.
And then suddenly Gunther's stock goes way up. I'm the champion who shows up.
Neither one of them. They're gonna film little skits with The Rock, little vignettes. He's going into the TKO board of directors meetings with this damn title. He's like putting it on the table and stuff. You know what this belt represents? You know what this belt means? You know what the beat for this title? What are we voting on today? What are we doing out here?
It doesn't matter what we're voting on. Well, it doesn't matter. I hate it. Let's do it. Oh my God. By the way, just before we pivot back, we're gonna introduce our guest in just a minute. The multi-man match for WrestleMania, it's a ladder match for the US title.
Yeah, they got to do a ladder match. They always do a ladder match.
Yeah. You got to get Logan Paul in there, and you got to get Ricochet in there, and you got to do the spots, and it's got to be that magic moment. And then the Intercontinental Championship match becomes that like wrestling match. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, Logan Paul in a ladder match. It'll do some stuff. KO loves ladder matches. Randy will do some cool RKO. AJ will still do some stuff because he's crazy like that. LA Knight will go LA Knight. Yeah. Anyway. I like LA Knight rules.
He's pretty all right.
Hell yeah. Bad Bunny, by the way, should also be in that ladder match.
He should actually.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
More Bad Bunny, period. I'm out for it. Hey, speaking of animals, speaking of Bad Bunnies, if he's ready, he can give me a thumbs up. All right, let's go. This next guest is going to be facing Matt Viviani for the Canadian Championship at IWS UnFnSanctioned on March the 2nd. Very much looking forward to welcoming the animal, Bob Anger.
Hey, how you doing? What's going on?
How you doing?
Welcome to Lethal Comics. This is where I work during the day.
This is where the magic happens.
Yeah, you bet. You bet.
How long have
so how you guys doing? What's going on?
We're good. We're excited to have you. I was going to say, how long have you been doing the comics beats?
Oh, geez. I've been a comic creator for 25 years. I've worked for Marvel, DC, Image, Boom, Dynamite, Dark Horse. I've done Swamp Thing, Vampirella. I had a series at Image for years. This is my day gig. I draw comic books for big publishers in the States. And a few years ago during COVID, when everything was like shutting down, my business partner, Carl, and I, we started a boutique publishing company called Lethal Comics that we basically run off crowdfunding. And we write and draw our own stuff, and it's that's sort of like the business that we're moving into over the next few years to work full time. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Have you worked with our pal Shane Hawk on stuff? I know he's working on a kind of a guide to wrestling. Is one of his big projects. Do you have any involvement with that?
Yeah, I'm drawing it.
Okay, there you go. See, I actually knew the answer because we just talked to Shane yesterday. So I was setting you up for that one.
Yeah, so I did the cover, and he's gonna set that up as like his own Kickstarter through Lethal Comics. And
yes,
yeah, it's gonna be a great guide. He's already written it. I've read it. It's fantastic. So what we'll do is we'll crowdfund the production of the book, and then we can get that out there, and it's gonna be awesome. Like, I've read it, and it's fantastic, and it's basically the mechanics of wrestling, and it's something we've talked about for years now, doing something like this. We'll probably get like some sort of forward by Bailey, but like, this is sort of like a dream project we've had for years, is to do like an illustrated wrestling sort of like book on how to wrestle. And I have a comic book that I do called Mother Trucker that is my own thing that I write and draw that I was working on for years, that combines my wrestling and my comic book stuff. So kind of like transitioning over to do like a how-to wrestle book just kind of like makes sense. And Shane and I have worked together on comics on and off for like the last 10 years. We worked on a bunch of WWE comics together. We did like some Jake the Snake stuff, some Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, but the one I'm most, and we did an entire backstory to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in one of the WWE issues for Boom. But the one I really love is like, and it was hard to get because a lot of people petitioned for this. We got to do the backstory to Kane and Undertaker in the mortuary when they were kids. And then we kind of like juxtaposition it with one of the WrestleManias. And it was it was awesome. It was really, really an awesome story to work on. And Shane's like a crazy talented writer. He's really a real. I'm always like, you should write comic books and work for us all the time. And but like, just writing in general, he's like fantastic at story writing, and he edits all my stuff. Fantastic story editor. So he's he does a lot with us here. It's fantastic.
Shane was telling us about the comic yesterday on an interview that airs tomorrow. And he was telling us about the concept and stuff. And he's like, it's kind of like Marvel, I guess, puts out like how to watch Marvel films. I think that's what something like that. And he's like, this is kind of the wrestling equivalent of that. Yeah. It's very, very fascinating, interesting stuff. And then he mentioned the Kane and Undertaker comic, and he's like, they passed these out at WWE shareholder like meetings. He's like, they were passing these out to like shareholder. This was like the gifts. I was like, wow. And he's like, this is super cool that like they were just passing this comic out to all the shareholders. So yeah, he showed us one of the covers that I assume you drew. Your name was on it. With Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Bryan Danielson on it and everything. And he was very proud of that cover. It's like, it's a very limited edition cover. We asked everybody the coolest thing in their room, and that's what he showed us. That was the coolest thing in his room.
I did this cover. It was like a big cover for them, like a variant. It was an 11x17 of Kevin Owens when he was the US champ the first time. Remember when he was like Mr. USA?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And it's like him with the US title and like a giant bald eagle on his shoulder and like the American flag behind him. And it was like one of the super variant covers for that issue of the WWE comic for Boom. And I wanted to give it to Kevin, but when he came, like I missed him. I think I was at a Comic-Con. So when he came to the dojo, I wasn't there that day. And I gave it to Daddy Magic, who was supposed to give it to Kevin, but who knows, it might be sitting on Daddy Magic's wall right now. I don't even know if he gave it to Kevin. But yeah, it was really cool. And wrestling for me, yeah, it's like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens kind of like just left IWS and the Montreal scene as I started wrestling. So it was I just missed them. I didn't get to like really spend a lot of time with them, like like Eddie did. Like Sexy Eddie's my tag partner, and Eddie Phantom and Manny and Andrew. They got to spend a lot of time with those guys over the years, and I kind of missed that. I finally got to meet Sammy at a Battle War show like last year. It was really cool. Super nice.
I was going to ask, because we kind of brought up the WWE comic stuff. Is that like a pitch thing, or is that they come to you? Is it just a shared conversation? Like, how do you get to that point where you're doing a WWE comic book?
Well, like wrestling, comics is like a very small world. So once you've been in it long enough and you've done enough high profile things, there's like the top 10% of comic creators, and like everyone knows everybody. Everyone knows everyone's dirt. Everyone knows what's going on. And so in that world, I'm not only like a comic creator, but then I'm like, oh, did you know he's like also like a pro wrestler? Like, it's like that. So as soon as the wrestling project happened, I was at a Comic-Con and they were telling me about the project. And I'm like, well, am I going to work on this thing? And they're like, yeah, that's why we're telling you about it. And I was like, oh, okay. And like all of the sort of stuff in comic books, for the most part, almost like in my career over 25 years, you get the gig at like a bar after a Comic-Con. Right. So you'll be at the Comic-Con showing all your stuff off. They have WrestleCons now and stuff. It's like the exact same thing, or video game cons. This is the exact same thing. and you'll be at the bar after, and people will be telling you about something, and then it won't really, because you're in a bar, it doesn't really register. And they're like, well, are you going to work on it? And I'll be like, yeah, wicked. All right. And then you got to try and remember it the next day and follow up. So that was one of those situations. They were just going off, and I was getting all excited about all the stuff they were telling me. And then finally I was like, well, I'm going to do one. And they're like, yeah, you get to do the legend stuff. Because the main storyline like revolved around Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt and like current people at that time. And they were doing all the back, and I was working for Image at the time, like on a monthly series. So it's not like I could like draw the whole comic. They had people for that. But as far as the 2 to 4 page backstories and all the issues, they were like, have at it. What do you want to do? You know, and my first instinct was like, yeah, I'd love to write that stuff. But also I knew, you know, Shane was like, he's like a super talented writer. He's obsessed with comics, and he's an absolute like encyclopedia of wrestling knowledge. So instead of like me writing it, I was like, oh, I bet Hawk would like just murder on this. I bet he'd be amazing. And he was like super cool. So yeah, it was really fun. Those comics were awesome. I wonder, I'm not sure if they're going to do more of that stuff, but I mean, I basically got into the business of making wrestling comics myself over the last few years anyway. So it's pretty exciting. And his book is going to rock. It's going to be really cool. Like, I think like pro wrestlers are going to be able to like hand it out to each other, and they'll learn a lot. Cause when it comes to psychology of wrestling, Andrew's amazing at the psychology of wrestling. Like, I remember Sexy and Eddie and I we were tag team, and we just kept losing, like just loss after loss after loss. And I was like, at one point I was like, Andrew, this like sucks. Like, we come out and the fans go crazy, and no matter what happens, we lose. But I didn't really notice incrementally. They were getting louder and louder and louder as we were going. And I mean, Sexy Eddie's like way over anyway. He's like a Quebec legend, but like we just started getting way more popular with the crowd every single time. And he was like, you see, you're like the most over tag team now, but you haven't won a match. Like, so then we started winning, and it was exciting. And, you know, he was right. He knew how to build a team in the audience eyes over the span of, you know, so many things. And that psychology is like really exciting to me. So that's the book's going to have a lot of stuff like that, really understanding it. And if you're a baby face, your whole thing's fire and energy and running and going crazy. But if you're a heel, your whole thing is, you know, bringing the audience down and cooling it out. So we've almost also color coded the book. So all the baby faces are in tones of red, and then all the heels are in tones of blue, you know, to help get across that idea. It's exciting. It's really fun to work on when you think of it artistically on a page, as opposed to, you know, being in the ring and, you know, doing it. It's really, really fun.
As we switch gears to the show this weekend, big show for IWS, anniversary show, 25th anniversary show on FnSanctioned. We got GCW involvement with the Ultimate Death. Andrew said I had to say it like that, or else he was going to beat me up.
Yeah, right.
That's the main event. But you're facing Matt Viviani for the title. Talk to us about this match and what fans can expect from this match and the show overall.
Matt Viviani's just like a real scumbag.
True. He was on our show. He sucked.
Yeah, he's like the worst human being. No one likes him. He keeps winning matches, but like he doesn't actually win the match. He has to get friends and all this crap. Like, he's kind of a crap champion, if you ask me. So yeah, I'm gonna beat the living shit out of him. He's dead. He cut a promo on me that was so nasty about being Eddie's sidekick. I'm going to sidekick him in his stupid face like 8 times.
He was cutting a promo on our show on Monday. He was saying, you know, I've beaten all the legends in IWS. Now they're giving me this guy. This guy is below.
Cut to the sidekick.
Yeah.
Cut to the sidekick. It's funny. Him and I like started training in the IWS together, like at the same time. And I don't think I've ever been in a match with him, but he's also never won in a match against me. Like I whoop his ass like every time. But this time I'm training because I'm like angry about his promo and cheating on all my buddies, especially Eddie. Like, that's not cool. Eddie's a sweet man. I don't know if you know Sexy Eddie, but he is like, despite being the sexy guy, he's actually a sweetheart. He's like a real nice guy. And pouring hot sauce in his eyes is just offside. So I'm gonna whoop his ass and take his title. That shit's mine. Animal's due for gold. I just keep whooping everyone's ass. I won my last 8 matches. Like, he's dead. He's dead. I'm gonna whoop his ass. It's gonna be fun. Well, if you guys are coming, you're gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna make him bleed. It's gonna rock.
I'll be watching on Fight TV. It's on Triller/Fight TV, whichever you want to call it. I will certainly be watching on March 2nd. When
By the way, how cool is that? Like,
That's great.
Yeah.
IWS is on Fight. Like, that is like the coolest thing. Also, it's awesome because in indie wrestling, it was so hard to get footage of any of your matches because everyone was still in the mindset that the promoters are going to sell DVDs, right? And nothing would be on YouTube. And it used to drive me like insane. And now it's on Fight, and I can literally right after the match go hop on my phone and be like, "Oh, dude, where was the cameraman on that dive?"
You gotta start cluing them in.
Yeah, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. But yeah, no, Viviani, he's so dead. He's so dead.
So hold on. If you beat him for the Canadian Championship, do you then become the Prime Minister of the IWS?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Let's go.
Animal's Prime Minister.
What does that look
amazing.
like? What does that look
That
like?
would be amazing. I'll declare a holiday, and we'll go back to dollar beers.
What, you've won everybody over just with that, I'm sure.
That's right. You're going back to dollar beers.
Someone tried that. It didn't go over
Holiday.
so well.
What?
So I'm the only Canadian. You and I are the only Canadians in the room. Jeremy's in Ohio, so I get the reference. Some of our chat will, but it doesn't always work that way.
I'll come down to the United States, and everyone gets a dollar beer down there.
Yeah, let's
all,
go.
dude. That's
I
right.
appreciate that.
What's the big beer company in Ohio? They have one.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Ohio.
I am not a beer drinker per se. I prefer the liquor if it's anything. Yeah, I'm not a big beer drinker. So
Well, bourbon is also $1. 26er for $1.
all
That's
right,
what
now
I'm
we're talking.
That's what
Now
I'm
we're
doing.
talking. Now
Yeah.
we're talking.
Yeah. It's gonna be amazing. I'll do parades all through the United States.
I respect this. I love
New
this.
Canadian Prime Minister. And I'll just come on down there. It'll be amazing. It'll be so good.
People might get confused with you and an animal from the Muppets, though.
Most people do.
That's the best
That's
part.
pretty common.
Do you play drum?
And that was kind of like it's really funny. Andrew, Shane Hawk's actually the one that came up with it the first time. He came
Really?
up with the whole idea and ran with it. And because I'm a comic guy, I was like, I can make something of this this animal business. And it was just my personality coming out in the ring. It was like that. So he was, gave me that nickname. And then I was like, okay, if I take Road Warrior Animal and mix it with the animal from the Muppets, where are we going? And sprinkle in a little Bill Murray, I think would be the perfect wrestling character.
Along with the show this weekend, we get the big documentary that's also being worked on. Yeah. Andrew talked to us a little bit about it, and Matt talked to us as well. They're gonna be filming a lot of stuff this weekend in conjunction with the show to highlight the 25 years of IWS. How much is, when there's a camera on you like that behind the scenes, are you paying attention to that kind of stuff?
It depends. It's if they're doing a documentary and they want my attention like this, then the focus is there. But I can ignore the camera and just do my thing. It depends on what they're doing. I know that they're coming to shoot here, so from 4:30 to 8 o'clock tonight at Lethal Comic Studios, we are cleaning the hell out of this place.
Gotta make it ready.
Yeah. So they're going to be shooting some stuff here, and then on the day. And probably during the matches, I imagine they'll have cameramen out there shooting the actual action with our cameramen. So it's It's going to be wild. I've like being in comics, like I've done a lot of stuff like this. I've been involved in a lot of documentaries. I'm podcasts, interviews over the last like 20 years. So it comes very natural to me. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm Gabby.
So no, I thought your name's not Gabby. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, but I'm chatty in interviews. So I don't have a problem with it. It's going to be fine. It'll be exciting. It's a little surreal, to be honest. Like the thought of like this documentary happening with these guys, like the documentaries that they've done in the past, like those are big documentaries. So this is serious. This is going to be like pretty crazy. So I'm pumped. I'm super pumped. It's going to be great.
Yeah, and it's really cool because the director has worked on an MMA documentary, has worked on a powerlifting documentaries. Like it's in the same sphere. So the storytelling, like you said, it's gonna be intense, but it's gonna be really, really cool. So like I tell you, I'm looking forward to it. I gotta ask you. So you partner with Sexy Eddie. You guys are on the road often. You get to spend a lot of time together. You're the Gabby one. Is he the sensual one? So give me some Sexy Eddie stories, because people need to see a side of Sexy Eddie that maybe they've never seen before.
Well, I mean, Sexy Eddie and I will get in trouble, but I normally drive. Like I have the car, so I drive. Our conversations are normally like pretty hilarious. So it's also really funny because like when he finally told me how old he was, I was really upset because it turned out I'm 2 weeks older than he is.
Oh, no.
I was like, no, I can't be older than Sexy Eddie.
He's ageless.
But yeah. But he's a character. He's also he will never ever admit to any of this stuff. He always says, I'm terrible. He's one of the most gifted wrestlers I know. You know what I mean? Like he's the way his brain works. He's like, I don't remember anything. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, being his partner for the last few years, I'm like, he's the real deal. He's amazing. There's no one in the world that can do a crossbody like that guy. Like he's brilliant. But like when we're driving around and stuff like that, this is like my impression of Eddie is like after an hour back from Ottawa, it's like, how long was I asleep for? And I'll be like, dude, like an hour. And he'll be like, no. And I'll be something like 5 seconds. And that'll happen like 8 times. But we're the same age, so we have a lot of the same interests and like saw a lot of the same stuff. And wrestling with him is just the most fun because a lot of it there's a lot of comedy elements. So during COVID, I was basically like in a bubble with Speedball. So before Speedball went to the United States, right?
Yeah.
He was keeping that knife sharp by kicking this face 8 times every Wednesday. And I learned a lot from Speedball, like just that like it was one-on-one training for I don't know like 2 years solid during COVID every Wednesday for hours. So I would have a match against Speedball like almost every Wednesday, and I'm not necessarily that kind of wrestler. So to learn sort of like I guess quote unquote like a Japanese style wrestling that is very focused on a really tight group of movements over the course of your match. I learned a great language, and I think that was like his thing is like after this you'll just be able to walk into any match and like put it together like that. That was his goal, and that's what happened. But then starting to work with Eddie, right, where a lot of the stuff ends up being comedy based, is like coming from wrestling in a complete other direction, and learning that stuff is really funny. You know what I mean? Like we turned heel recently at C4, and I was like, hey, let's do your dick vacuum spot. He's like, no, we're bad guys, can't do anything like that. That's a good guy thing. And learning like some of the comedy spots that are like good versus evil is really funny. I had my first street fight on Friday at C4, and in 8 years I've never had like a full street fight where you're like in the ring for like a minute and the rest of it we're brawling on the outside of the arena, and that was wild. Like just almost entirely improv. Like the whole thing. If you're in a street fight, there's no, I'm not, whipping him, into like a clothesline, into, drop down, pass bys, none of that stuff. It's all just improv. And after the match, I just remember thinking like wrestling is so wild because there's so many different ways that you can actually do it and make it entertaining. And Eddie's been like a really great teacher for me over the years doing that stuff. And don't get me wrong, he's wild. Like, don't put us in a room with free beer. Like, it's over. It's over. And I've gotten in trouble. So, and it's hard to say who is like, he'll always run around and it's like, oh, guys, it's my fault. It's my fault. We got so crazy. And I'm like, I don't think it is. I can be as much of a troublemaker as Eddie. So, depending on the situation, Eddie and I can get in trouble.
I have a write-in question from
Sure.
a S Hawk, and he says, "Is it true you refer to Shane Hawk as King Sexy?"
Yeah, he makes me.
He makes you.
It's the best answer you give. Yeah, he makes me.
You want to elaborate at all or not? Just let that go.
Just let it go. Yeah, like him and I have been best bros for like so long. We have like all these like inside joke things that like just sort of like have created their own world. Like we refer to each other as low, and like here I'll talk about this. There's a ominous Twin Peaks figure called Dark Andy. And Dark Andy is he just kind of floats in between me and Andrew. And whenever we're doing anything horrible, we always just blame Dark Andy. And whatever happens, if Dark Andy shows up, you owe him $145. He always whines. Yeah, he's always like, give me $145. And it's really funny. So we've created like this whole world of like Foulovia. We just call everyone lowly. I think it's developing into its own comic book eventually. Like it's this language that only Andrew and I have. It is really, really, really funny. But yeah, he likes to be called King Sexy. It makes him feel good.
Oh dear. Well, this is perfect because my last question for you is a game that we like to play on the program. It's called Partner Promo or Punch in the Face. I'm going to give you 3 names, and you're going to pick which one you want to partner with in a tag team match, which one you want to have a promo off with in the ring, and which one you want to punch in the face and have a singles contest. You ready?
And have a singles contest?
Yeah. Punch him in the face means you're gonna have a match 1-on-1.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right.
Give her.
Here are your names: Green Phantom, PCP Crazy F and Manny, and the one and only superstar Shane Hawk. Bob Anger, partner promo, punch in the face.
Oh shit. Okay, so my choices were promo, punch in the face. What was the third one?
Tag team partner for a match.
Oh, tag team partner?
Yeah.
God damn, those guys are all scumbags.
You're welcome.
You can punch all 3. We've had that answer.
That's true.
Before.
We
have. We're both pretty much baby right now, but I definitely need another really big match with Green Phantom one day.
Okay.
He
punch him in the face.
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, when I started wrestling in IWS, I think because of our characters and our size, Green Phantom used to just beat the shit out of me all the time. So now that I am like uber animal, I feel like revenge has always been sitting back there. So yeah. Him and I are gonna have it off again one day. But then again, we would make a crazy amazing tag team. So no, I'm gonna punch Green Phantom in the face, even though I think him and I would be like an unstoppable tag team. I will tag partner with Manny.
Okay.
But that match is going to be like really bloody. I'll probably let him do that, and I'll run away crying.
You had your first street fight, so,
Like, I'll be like holding his ear, like, oh, should I eat it? I don't know. I don't know if you heard, he almost got his ear cut off last year.
That's right.
Like, here's your ear. I remember like I remember walking by the change room, and it's like there was this blood everywhere, and like they were sewing up his ear. And I'll have a promo with Andrew. I like promos with Andrew. He's really good at them, and I love calling him Meatball. Andrew's really good at promos in the ring, and like I always thought like Animal's kind of like this meathead sort of like Terminator beast, but I always thought I always one day wished I had been on the mic a little bit more, and you know, Andrew and I, like, you know, talking shit to each other in front of everyone with microphones would be like really funny.
I like it.
So
I appreciate it.
There you go.
Now everyone has to go watch IWS UnFnSanctioned. It's this Saturday. It's March the 2nd.
I'm gonna beat the royal shit out of Matt Viviani.
That's what I wanted to hear. It's on Fight TV.
He's gonna need he's gonna need a lot more than one guy running in to win this match. He's gonna need an army of cronies if he thinks he's gonna fucking take me out. He doesn't have the juice.
Tell them where they can find you talking shit on the internet.
At Andy Belanger on Instagram and Twitter, and yeah, pretty much at Andy Belanger. You can find me at all those places. Yeah, and the Animal exists in that world. So
well, go check out the Animal. Go check out Andy. Go follow him and check out IWS. It's going to be a fun show. Go win that title. Go win that Prime Minister spot.
Yeah, can you imagine Animal Prime Minister? It'd be amazing.
Let's go.
It'd be amazing. Everyone gets a fur jacket too.
Oh, let's go.
I don't know what animal what millions of animals we're gonna butcher so that everyone gets a fur jacket. It's kind of dark. I don't know. Maybe
we'll find a vegan
option in a lab. I don't know.
We'll find a vegan option for something.
Fur jackets. And everyone
parades
gets a
in America. Yeah.
Parades
in America.
All through America.
Wow.
All through Florida, especially. Like I think the Animal would be really big in Florida. I could wear get a pink outfit. Be amazing. Yeah, Miami Vice Animal. That'd be that's probably my after Prime Minister Animal. I'll just move to Florida and become Miami Vice Animal. That'll be pretty good.
You roll up the sleeves of your jacket and everything.
Square shoulder pads, but with the hair.
They're coming back. They're coming back.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Right on, guys. Have a good one.
Take care.
Have good luck this weekend.
Oh, he's dead.
Oh, that was fantastic. Bob, the Animal Anger. Good stuff, man.
Oh, very fun. It's been a big, we had Viviani on Monday. Jensen and I recorded with Shane Hawk. That'll air tomorrow.
I'm glad that worked out.
Yeah, we're doing double dipping with interviews this week on Spotlight. We were supposed to record another interview tonight. So a lot of talking for me, a lot of interviews going on this week.
Fine. It's not like anything's happening this weekend.
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, I might be there. We'll see. We'll find out. Figure it all out.
Don't bother. It's fine. It's Monday that we have to worry about.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing there.
I mean, I'll be there, so there's that.
Well, you'll be where? Are you going to be at Revolution?
No, I'll be on the internet talking about the wrestling.
Okay.
Where you'll be, I don't know yet.
I don't know either. I'll be around. I'll be somewhere in the sphere, the space, time and space. I'll be around.
Maybe we'll dust off Kate. We'll do Joel and Kate on a Monday morning.
That sounds terrible.
I know.
Main channel too.
I know. People would hate it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. It's your call. I mean, you're the one doing the show.
We'll see. We'll talk about it offline, and we will update everyone in the Discord about what's going on Friday. I am definitely not going to be here because I'm traveling, and I think a lot of our friends are also traveling on Friday because of AEW Revolution weekend.
Yeah, we will see. We shall see.
If we don't do that show, I do have an interview that's set to run, so there's at least that. So you're not going to miss any content. I got a really fun interview with ACW and Manicat Records about an upcoming show that they're doing. We have a good music and wrestling talk, so we'll probably toss that up regardless on Friday.
We have Coexisting on Friday as well at 3 p.m.
Right. I'm saying the morning slot. Coexisting, They're always there. They're great. Love Rob and Maggie.
I'm just saying, for people that want the Want
The
Something Live on Friday.
Yes.
Coexisting at 3 p.m. Eastern with Rob and Maggie. Should be live. So yeah, I will say it's 50-50 right now on Friday, and I might not have an actual answer. Might have an actual answer until like tomorrow at some point. Maybe I'll have an answer during Spotlight. Tune in tomorrow during Spotlight to see if I'm gonna do a show on Friday.
We're gonna now that we finished the Steven Jensen job story, we're gonna finish the Jeremy Lambert does a show on Friday story.
Yeah, that story, or Jeremy goes to Revolution. That's the real story. Who cares about the show? Like me going to Revolution to see Sting's last match. I'm sitting in the rafters. Gonna sit in the rafters to pay tribute to the great Sting as well.
Did you read the Players Tribune article from Darby?
Yeah.
That was really good, and I love that
Yeah.
Darby starts off with like, "Yeah, they kept putting me in the rafters, and I didn't question it, and I didn't know what to think." And then all of a sudden, someone clued me in and said, "Hey, man, you're gonna work with Sting," and I was like, "Oh shit!" That article was really good, very like well written as Darby's voice, and I really liked it.
It was good, and I think everyone has spoken super highly of Sting for good reason. But I think the one thing that truly resonates is this last run, which we didn't know was going to happen until he did the cinematic match and then got back in the ring. Like Darby said, it could have been do a Stinger splash, do a death drop, do a death lock, done. You're done. That's it.
Yeah.
Fans pop, fans love it. Seems like, nah, let me jump off this balcony. Let me jump off this ledge. Let me jump off this ladder. Let me go through this table. And it's not only that, but it's working with a variety of people. I understand he's won every match, but like you've had people that maybe wouldn't have had. When we had Kip Sabian on our show, he talked about like, never thought I was going to get to work with Sting. And here's Sting out here pitching like Orange Cassidy spots to do in the match and everything. And the one thing that Darby said that I hope really resonates with people, and this is I think the one thing he said that he wanted people to take is like, you can give back to the business as an older veteran. It doesn't have to be go out there, be bitter, get yourself over, talk about the good old days of when wrestling was so much better, when you were on top or when it was real or whatever. Like you can actually you can thrive in this current environment, put people over, have fun, have a good time with people, and just be a good, decent human being at it. And it all holds true with Sting. Like you look at Sting's run, it's like it's almost perfect. Like it's really, maybe I'm biased as a Sting fan, but like there's not much I would be like, yeah, Sting shouldn't have done this, even though he does this and he does that. But like, there's no, I don't feel like he was taking away a spot from anybody. I don't feel it's like, oh, why are they trotting out Sting when they could give it to this guy? Like everything he's done. And I think attaching himself to Darby or being attached to Darby, what is a big part of it. It's like, he's not coming out here just doing singles matches for no reason and beating people. Like you're getting Darby over in the process of all this as well. And I think that's been a big help. So like everything's just been really good, man. It sucks that it's going to be over on Sunday.
It's going to be a moment. And I think it's one of those positive moments that we're all looking forward to cheering. And like, that's what you want in wrestling. That's the best part. And you mentioned, Darby getting over by working with Sting, not Sting coming in and taking Darby's energy, power, pop, whatever. No, they worked together well. And this was something that we praised AEW about for years and years, was that when they first started and they brought in legends, the legends were used to put over talent, right? Everyone points to Lance Archer with Jake the Snake. Yeah, with Jake Roberts. And that partner and that pairing was really good. Jake couldn't get in the ring, but when he got physical a couple of times, people were like, okay, that's good. Same thing with Sting. Nobody expected Sting to get physical, and then he did, and suddenly the dynamic changed and it became even better. And I think, the fact that Sting has chosen his time to retire and it's not the other way around where he's being forced out, that also means a lot. And that also makes you a lot more invested in your departure, in your final match, in whatever you're doing. You mentally and physically prepare for this. And then that pays off to the audience who have supported you and been on this ride with you. Something like this is something that every wrestler who gets it should aspire to have an exit like this. And hopefully, if this is it for Sting, if he's calling it quits and he's not going to have any more matches in the ring, I hope he walks out very happy and very satisfied, because he should. Given his time in AEW, he should, especially for that.
Do you think it should headline?
Yes.
On Sunday?
Yes. Okay. The last, and I talked about this in the Discord, with the last time an AEW pay-per-view had a world title triple threat, it was not the main event. Stadium Stampede was. That was Double or Nothing in 2021. They're doing it again, and that's fine. You can argue that the Samoa Joe and Hangman and Swerve story is also very important, and it's the world title, but like, this is Sting's last match. This is in Greensboro. This is the Young Bucks with a hot new presentation that people are really getting and enjoying, or enjoying hating. There's no reason why this shouldn't go on last, especially with like the potential for heels to basically win every match. The way it looks, it doesn't feel like any baby faces are going to win. Even Wardlow's not a babyface, but like, it just looks like every heel's going to win until Sting and Darby come out and potentially give it that big moment where the only baby faces on the card win and retain the tag titles.
Or it's just all heels winning, and then,
or it could be that, and it's a weird reset. And I'd be interested to see where it goes, because the characters that are going for titles, at least there's something there. So yeah, I mean, the idea of that match going on last hasn't really left my feelings, and we don't know what Hangman's going to be like. People are mentioning Hangman in the chat. He's going to address whether or not he's going to be in the match tonight on Dynamite. Even if he's out, I would still make the tag match the final.
I would too. I think you have to, because
the show was announced based on that retirement too. Sorry to cut you off there.
Yeah, and I think that's a big reason as well. Is it was sold on Sting, like it's Sting's house. Honestly, if we're really looking down at it, like, no matches were announced. It was just Sting's last match is at Revolution. All right, sold everything out. Like, that's it would. I think it has to go on last. I think too, the fans want that moment of being last as well. Of like, if you just put it co-main event, like, it's going to be a draining moment, right? It's going to be very tough for whoever has to follow that to get it back up. Like, you're basically whatever comes after them, you're basically throwing that match away. And it's going to be no offense to whoever that is, but you're throwing that match away, because it's just going to be, it could be Ospreay and Takeshita, which is going to be a great match. People might be excited enough for that, but it's going to be tough to get that crowd back after Sting's last match, especially after a loss. Like, if he loses, trying to get him back up after that, after a win, it might be a more celebratory kind of thing. It's like, all right, let's go. We're still pumped, but I would keep that up. I would make it last, and then have that final moment just be the close of it, because I think that's what people are there for. And that way it doesn't potentially put the next spot in the next match in a bad spot. Just because they don't have to follow Sting. I don't think anybody wants to follow Sting either. I don't think anybody wants that task of trying to follow Sting. Maybe somebody will say like, yeah, okay, we can follow it. But like, I don't think anybody actually wants that. If I'm the wrestlers, I imagine they're probably pushing for Sting to be in that final spot. One, because he deserves it, and two, because
they don't want to go on after that.
Again, I'm sure they're confident and like, oh, we're still gonna have this great match and stuff, but like, they know how this works. Like, they know if they have to follow that, they could go out there and maybe do anything, and it's not gonna really matter, because people are just like, oh, Sting, fuck, that was Sting's last match. That's what we just witnessed. And it's like, it's going to be tough to get into it after that. You're going to need that cool down. And so instead of the cool down being a match, the cool down's just the end of the show. Wait 50 minutes for the press conference.
Yeah, well, that's why the end of the show, someone had mentioned in the chat, and I agree with this, everybody cheering Sting after the match on the stage, the big goodbye, the fans, good. It's going to be that. And that's the thing, win or lose, it's going to be emotional because the reality sets in that that's it. This is Sting's last match. We're done. Win or lose, people are going to be like, oh, we just witnessed that. And this has an effect on everything. That's why it should be the last match. If wrestling is nothing else but a theater where we are trying to get the most emotion out, this is it. You don't bring it all the way up to that apex and not go off the air with it, with people happy, excited, sad, like literally every emotion possible in that moment. You can't bring it down with another match after that. Regardless of, like, what are you going to do, 20 minutes with the world title? And Joe's going to, let's just say, and then Joe wins and they go off the air and people are booing, but also like a little indifferent because Joe is very popular and also because they will have witnessed Sting's last match. So it's kind of like, it's come and it's gone. The moment is hard to recreate. Like the emotion of a moment is hard to recreate after you run it the first time. So you have to do Sting last.
I'd be pretty surprised if Sting's not last.
It's first. That would be awful. It's first and it's 5 minutes. Kicking the dick. I made this joke, by the way, in the Discord, and a bunch of people were like, this is a good idea. Not the first match. The idea that Sting turns on Darby and joins the Bucks and says, screw you, thank you for the house. And someone was like, he's been doing this for 30 years. Why wouldn't he say screw you and turn heel on everyone for a change? I laughed because I was joking and people were like, no, I like this idea. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta be careful.
I know people have, I think we talked a little bit about it on our show before. Yeah. What's Sting's go-to song? Look, man, they gotta get the rights to the man called Sting. They just
for once, yes. Like for this one time, yes.
he does this, he does that. Quick as the lion, whatever the fucking lyric is.
You know what I would do? You know what I would do if they're not already doing this, and if someone's listening, get Mikey on the phone. Just do a mashup.
They've been doing something like similar.
Yeah, do like a lead up to the Sting theme that is now, but like do a bit of a mashup to get there. They got Metallica once, right, for All In. So do it again. Like do a couple of things.
Okay, people are saying American Pie. What if like you go off the air with Message in a Bottle or Roxanne?
Roxanne would be great because no one could hit that high note.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Sting's got to sing a Sting song.
Yeah.
Message in a Bottle is a Sting song, right? That was Police.
It's a Police song, but yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's singing Tea in the Sahara. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I was making sure I had my musical reference right.
No, you got it. You got it.
Like he's got to sing a Sting song. Nah, I don't want Seek and Destroy.
Yeah, Seek and Destroy was like, it was a WCW 99. People like remember it fondly, but it wasn't Sting. Like it's got to, because Tony is such a WCW guy, it's got to be like surfer man called Sting. That's it.
Darby's got to do the surfer face paint too.
I would like that.
Cause he's got the, he's got the hair to kind of, he's got the blonde kind of spiky hair. So like I need Darby in the surfer paint.
I don't think Tony will pay that amount of money. And I don't think they're on tour right now or flying from the West Coast. Greensboro.
Yeah, they did Seek and Destroy. They did Seek and Destroy at All In.
Yeah, and they bought the original one like a bunch of dummies. Not the Woodstock 99 version like Sting did in WCW.
Yeah, I gotta do Man Called Sting. That's all I want. That's all I want from Saturday or Sunday, whatever days damn show's on. That's all I want. I just want Man Called Sting one last time.
Show's on a Sunday this time?
Yeah, it's on Sunday.
Okay.
It's not football season, so it's a Sunday.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, where is our Drew McInsider?
I don't know. He's ducking me as usual, I'll send him another message. But
Yeah, let's get this guy on. Where is he?
I've sent him another message. He's honestly, bless Alex McCarthy, he's probably sleeping.
That's
The
fair.
man's had a long kind of week here. He went to Australia for God knows what reason. I mean, we know why, but like,
I'm
I don't know
curious,
why.
like how that came about.
Probably just like, hey, go cover this. And it's like,
Like,
all right.
I'm sure work was like, do it, but like, it's not common for people to be sent to Australia to go cover a WWE show.
Yeah. So we, I don't know. I've sent him another message trying to wake him up out of his stupor.
Did you send him the link to this show?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Sometimes
I'm a
we forget.
professional. I know what
Sure.
I'm doing.
That is true.
And we can talk about Drew, and then hopefully McCarthy can come on and give us a little bit more insight. But McCarthy did put out the message that hasn't resigned yet, despite reports from people who you shouldn't be listening to.
Please stop listening to BWE. I'm just
You know
gonna
that was a bullshit thing of, oh well, he's working Mania, he must have resigned, so I'm just gonna say he did, and then if it turns out he did, he'd be like, I told you this on February 27th that he
exactly.
resigned. That's all it is.
People have been saying that since the Royal Rumble. They've been saying
Yeah.
it ever since Drew started having a new character and getting some steam that he must be resigning. Well, let's do something that our Drew McInsider, Alex McCarthy immediately pointed out, which was Bryan Danielson worked that WrestleMania before he left too.
Yeah,
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he has or has not resigned. Sorry, it doesn't mean that he will or will not resign, because he has not as of this moment.
Yeah, he might resign. I expect him to. If you ask me my guess is he will resign. But according to McCarthy, who I trust, he hasn't. So okay, that's where we're at right now. But I think he will. And I think he should win the title at Mania. Shit, I said he should have won the title at day one, and it could have been a short run, but they didn't do that. I think he should win the title at Mania. You can't keep beating this man in these big title matches.
So this is kind of the point where you talking about throwing things at the wall, seeing if they stick. If he wins the title, do you go back to he's closer to signing, or if he doesn't, do you think, well, they just heated him up on the way out and he did good business, and now they're just respectfully saying, we're done, or they couldn't come to terms? One of the, stuff can be two things. Do you think that's a possibility that we're going to go that way?
I don't think he's winning if they don't have an agreement in play. When does the actual contract end? Do we know?
We don't know. We know that there was injury time added on. So that takes us past Mania. And then there was the whole thing about him being or not being advertised for the European tour. He was advertised for a show in Italy in early May, I think it was. So he's staying on past Mania because of the injury time.
Right. So I guess with that, then you can have him win the title and then lose it relatively in shortcoming. But it doesn't feel like he's a guy who should lose it within a month. He should probably hold on to it for a little bit, I would think.
There's also a giant Punk elephant in the room.
Yeah, and then this is why I think he's just going to end up staying, because assuming everything is well and good, there's a lot still for him to do, and this new character that he's now cultivated and crafted, he's getting even more life out of this run. The Punk stuff is still there. You can still do stuff with Cody. You can still do stuff with Roman and the Bloodline. There's still a lot of stuff to accomplish with Drew, which makes me believe he is staying.
There's something to be said about the potential of just signing extensions until you're done. That's not out of the realm of possibility, where he stays through the summer, and then if he goes, he goes. So, I see Chad is literally all over the place. Does he stay? Does he go? That's fine, because there's good reason for either side. If he wants to work elsewhere, he has that option. If he likes what he's doing in WWE and sees more opportunity there, then he sticks around. Ultimately, it's money and it's creative. Right now, his creative is fantastic.
You can do. He wins the title. Has he signed? And then it's the summer of Drew, and Punk returns, and he's like, "What are you gonna do? You're gonna take that title? You're gonna hold it hostage? Go elsewhere?
You're gonna put
Let
a
me
big
tell
X
you.
over it.
Let me tell you, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. You're gonna go headline the show that I created. You're gonna go work Saturdays with a bunch of children. Is that what you want to do?
Here, I got some muffins in my truck. let me give them to you on the way out while you drive out of the stadium."
That'd honestly be fantastic if the Punk just but you could do it though. You could do it of a summer of Drew, and Punk is on the opposite side of that, and it's just like, is this what you want to do? You want to take this title elsewhere? Go elsewhere? Make the AEW references that'll upset some people and everything. Be great. I don't know. I do think that Drew should win the title at Mania, though. Otherwise, if you don't have him win it here, when are you going to do it? Because there ain't. I thought day one was an opportunity. They didn't do it then. Now is another opportunity. You don't do it here, he can only continue to complain about this stuff for so long before it's like, all right, like, we got it, dude. Like, people are captivated by it right now. At some point, the captivation runs out and people are just annoyed by it. And it's like, all right, dude, you keep saying all this and then you just keep losing anyway. And like, we're just kind of over it. And that's what they can't do.
I do love the idea, and we talked about this on the show before, of Drew finally winning that championship, finally getting what he's been wanting, and everyone's booing him. And he's like, "Why are you booing me? I'm right. I have been right. There's no I am the good guy here. There's no reason to boo me." And that kind of sets him off, and he realizes in that moment that, like, yeah, everything kind of sucks, and this is what I wanted, but at what cost? And he just becomes more evil after that. So I don't like. I like the idea of him winning the title at WrestleMania. There's no reason why he shouldn't, especially if you have an injured champion who is getting clear but then gets injured. I'm not saying that Seth has ongoing issues, but could use some time to heal up, and then we do the summer of Drew, or the spring of Drew, and then it's the summer of Punk Part 5. Which, by the way, just that every summer is the summer of Punk at this point, which is just fantastic. Good for him.
Hey, look, man, you build a whole season around them. Good on him.
Yeah.
Weisel was saying he's Drew the last pandemic champ to not get his moment in front of the crowd. I mean, Orton technically won the title during the pandemic, and that wasn't in front of a crowd. Yeah. But yeah, Lashley at least beat Drew to retain the title in front of the crowd.
We all thought that was the moment for Drew.
Yeah, and that's where I'm like, you gotta pay this man back a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, this is where, like, I do actually sympathize with Drew, and he does it in a heel way, which makes it great. And again, this is why I find him very captivating and compelling. But like, I do sympathize of, like, he won the title in the shittiest WrestleMania of all time because it was just in a warehouse in front of nobody. Like, it wasn't even Thunderdome at that point. Like, it was
sound.
just
no pop.
Nothing. Yeah, none at all.
Remember they put out a big a T-shirt that said "the biggest fan at WrestleMania 36."
Yeah.
And it was the fan at the big industrial
Giant,
fan. Yeah. That's what we think about when we think about that WrestleMania.
Like, it was just nothing. And then he had to do all that stuff during the pandemic. I feel bad for all the performers that had to, work through that, because it could not have been easy. But I really felt bad for Drew because he did his best with this. Like, it was very easy to make fun of, like, thumbs up, thumbs down. Hey, all you cool cats and kittens stuff. And he was still, like, trying to do media. That's where Drew really became, like, a media person.
Yes.
Is he was trying to promote it as best he could. And that's the other thing that I think about when he, like, not only did he just, like, carry the company, like, during that time, like, weekly television, trying to do the best he could in front of nobody with no immediate feedback, because the Thunderdome doesn't count on that level because they could splice in all the sound and everything. But he carried the company through like a media perspective as well. That man, that's when the joke of here's another Drew McIntyre interview to listen to was born, because if he wasn't filming, he was doing interviews.
And the one thing that I think people maybe forget is that he got COVID while he was the champion.
Yeah.
And when he did, it was either asymptomatic or he was really good at covering. Regardless, it looked good, which really sucks at a time when like people were getting sick and people were dealing with it. Like, I'm sure WWE backstage, they were all salivating at the idea that, yeah, our world champion has this awful thing that's keeping us from going live, but look how unfazed he is. And I'm sure that they were really happy with that, but more effectively, like, it did give him more opportunities to go out and talk and be an ambassador for WWE and be the guy that they wanted him to be. And now he gets to come back and be that guy on the opposite end of things and be that jerk that has so many good points. Again, the character work it makes sense. And that's really all it needs to be. It needs to make sense and make you think about everything he's saying.
And it should, I mean, look, wrestling's a cruel business, sure. But like, you should reward that kind of stuff. Like, if you have the opportunity to do so, you should do it. And I don't want to be like, well, he deserves it. What is deserves and everything. The booker's going to book how they book on the whims of everything. But like, there's no denying actually how good Drew is on television. This is not like, oh, Drew's super cold. He is lost in everything. And hey, but remember the pandemic stuff? Like, let's give him this token title return reign because he did that. It's like, no, he did all of that, and now he's doing even better work. It's like, man, actually try to reward those people because that looks good too. People are like, all right, you know what? Maybe it takes a little while. Maybe you got to go through some downs and everything. But if you can latch onto something, if you can find something and you can heat yourself up or you can connect with the audience, it will actually pay off for you. That's a story they love to tell, right? That's the whole story of Kofi Mania. It's like 10 years. You just work hard, keep going. It'll pay off. Like, they love that shit.
First WrestleMania main event winner to ever watch his match be aired in real time where he wins the title and react with everybody in the moment. That's pretty wild to think about. That's what Drew McIntyre got to do. They did the match, then they aired it a week later, and he got to, yeah, I can feel you. I can feel you.
Audience.
Oh, man. I look forward to whatever Drew does next, regardless of where he is, because right now the character work is there. The in-ring work is always there. There's nothing but kind of positives for Drew McIntyre, and that's good. I'm all for that.
I want to see him go to AEW and just shoot on WWE.
He's going to look so, we've talked about this before. It would look so weird because of the size differential. He's already a big dude. And in AEW, like, not everyone there is massive. So I do wonder just how that looks.
I want him to just like bury WWE though, because he's always spoken so highly of the company and always been like the company person. And he's just like, yeah, you know what? They didn't know what they had. The old Drew McIntyre.
Put the title in the trash. Let's go.
I think Drew stays, but I've always said this. I'm always more intrigued by the unknown. And Drew in AEW is a more unknown than Drew in WWE. As good of work as he's doing in WWE and as good as stuff as they could have lined up for him, AEW is a much more unknown. So I'm way more intrigued by that. But I do think he ends up staying.
Yeah, I have a feeling as well. And we'll see where it goes.
I don't know where Alex McCarthy is. As usual, he is ducking me.
Yeah.
But we do have someone here who can maybe fill us in on something. I don't know.
Is he going to?
Sean Arsap.
Oh, he's got some raisin toast.
Yeah, raisin toast, nice. And I don't know what that is.
That looks like oatmeal. Oh, okay.
Nice.
It's either oatmeal or tuna.
Yeah.
You sound different in this setup.
He's at a bunker.
Yeah, so my actual audio machine wasn't working, so this crapped out.
I just mean your voice sounds different. Like, you sound like a different human being. Are you using auto-tune all the time?
Maybe. Sometimes
How are you?
I like to.
How are you this morning, Sean?
I'm good. I did want to swing by. Of course, we'll talk about it more on the hump. Wanted to send some love to Virgil.
Yep.
his friends, his family, all that stuff. The worst interview I ever did by a very, very large margin was with Virgil. And
We did mention that, yeah.
it was wonderful. Honestly, it is probably a top 10 drawing thing in the history of Fightful Select, because so many people, like, when I went on the back end and I saw that that the numbers on that, I was like, oh, people are actually watching this. And
People love a good train wreck.
they do love a good train wreck. I'll tell the story behind that on the hump today, but yeah, I just wanted to send my love. I mean, I know that there's probably going to be a lot of people saying this, but I was a legit Virgil fan as a little kid, because Ted DiBiase was such a good heel, man. Like, he made you feel bad for Virgil and the way that he was treating Virgil. And yeah, also just they did good work together, and one of the best duos of that era for that reason. Virgil was so imposing. Another memory I have of Virgil, when a lot of people would talk about, like, who looks like a real fighter and who doesn't look like a real fighter, I encourage everybody to go back and watch when Rampage Jackson was on WWE Raw and they were promoting the A-Team. Rampage Jackson had been the champion of the second biggest weight division in the UFC, and Virgil made him look tiny. Like, it wasn't even, and nobody looks at Virgil and goes, wow, Virgil's a big, huge dude. Virgil made Rampage look like a child. It was another fun memory, because, like, it's often forgotten that Virgil had a whole different run with WWE, but wanted to send love there, definitely. And
Sean,
apparently our Discord's getting spicy. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I was in there all of yesterday. It wasn't so much spicy. We just started having weird jokes. It was good stuff.
Sean,
Oh,
I'll
boy.
see you. I'll see you this weekend.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll count on you to pick me up whenever I miss my first flight.
I mean, I can if you need me to.
I hope that doesn't happen. If it does happen, I'm pretty sure I can get a rental car from there. But I'm flying from Lexington to Charlotte, then Charlotte to Greensboro, then getting a rental car.
No, I'm driving, so I got a 7-hour drive ahead of me, which will be fine. I've made that drive plenty of times, but
This is the number of times I've driven over 6 hours in my life.
Really? See, you're not. You call yourself
Personally.
a wrestler.
You call yourself a
Personally.
Canadian.
You gotta
Wow.
you gotta make the towns, brother. You know, there's
Yeah.
12-hour car rides.
Well,
I remember
they used to only let real wrestlers get into the ring.
Mouse was very impressed that I pulled off the
It's very impressive.
Chicago to Cleveland, wherever the AEW show was.
Was it Erie?
just- yeah, Lake Erie. Yeah. That was
You do in Indianapolis next month?
yeah. I want to. I do, because one, you're on the show. Two, not Dr. Death, Steve is wrestling Cole.
Oh, not
Radrick.
that one.
Oh, what show?
Listen, I'm a Squared Circle Expo legend. And
Big
I
pop.
will
Big pop
I will
there.
not let anybody get less of a reaction on that show than me.
Okay.
It's not going to happen. So maybe I'll show up.
Okay. I do want to do Paul Cade, though. I do want to do
Yeah.
Paul Cade. I'm going to try to figure that out. Because, again, you're going to be there, and Steve's wrestling Cole Radrick, and that's just a hilarious match to me.
My wife actually won't be at Squared Circle Expo because I think the Saturday of it, she and Cher Delaware and Nikita Krylov fan's wife are all going to see Fall Out Boy here in Lexington.
Smart. That is
Nice.
smart. I would do this thing.
They do a great live show. They're
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But-
All right. So what you're saying is I need to come to Squared Circle Expo and be your wife.
Maybe. I don't know.
All right.
I'm getting a lot of interviews there.
So that's why I'm there, helping out.
There you go.
Hey, before we leave, we got a super chat from Will Chisholm. What's the unknown with Tamatanga Bloodline or Bullet Club with the Good Brothers?
So that's interesting because Bullet Club needs him real bad. I mean, real bad. They need him. I mean, I like that they put them around NXT as well. If you're not on WWE TV for just no reason, go ahead and send them to NXT. Like, I like that.
Mhm.
But there has been an awful lot made of, is Tamatanga related or not? And Lance Anoa'i, to his credit, was like, yeah, we consider him family, always have. There were,
Someone just woke up.
No, he didn't. I'll let him tell it, but he was ducking me. As
I
usual,
knew it.
ducking me.
It's our Drew
Oh, Alex.
McInsider.
What's happening?
How are you, Alex McCarthy?
Fashionably late. Very, very
Yes.
sorry.
Yes. As usual, just send the invite and then, let's doing other things, playing golf.
I kept him on the line like one of those cop movies,
Yeah,
so you could track his location.
I was too busy being bad at golf. I'm very, very sorry.
I figured you were sleeping because you've had some long travel days recently, and you deserve a break sometimes. But
Yeah. Fuck it. Well, I mean, I've got to go back to the grind tomorrow, and
legally or illegally?
Legally.
Okay.
The legal grind. That is a 5:30 a.m. start, and my sleep pattern right now is probably going to bed at 5:36 a.m. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah, you're gonna have to work on that. Yeah.
Hmm?
So
You have to work on
Alex, has Drew McIntyre re-signed with WWE?
No.
All right, thanks for joining us. Good chat.
This is I've sent you the deets yesterday, Jeremy. You don't even need me, do you?
No, we like having you on. We like having you on. Yeah.
It's so funny though. Like I put on Twitter and I because I only really put my head up for these sort of things now if it's wrong, right? Like, and it's wrong. I've discussed with Sean. You might remember in London, Sean, I was talking about after the press conference where Triple H said some things that we knew were just wrong regarding Drew. And obviously seeing that report yesterday getting circulated around, it was just blatantly wrong. And I couldn't have spoken to anyone closer to the situation. Let's put it that way. He definitely hasn't.
He spoke to the Mac alien from Mac and Me.
That's right.
He got mailed an embossed sword that said, "I have not re-signed."
Yeah, I don't know how you know that, but that is right. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't just him either. There's a couple of different people that kind of reached out and said about it. Like it's not even like on the brink. They're talking, but it's not like it's not like close to being signed at the moment.
They do want to continue working together. Like that's been the thing. Like for the last several weeks, it's not like it's not. And there were some legit hiccups with I wouldn't say that would have affected this, but wasn't thrilled about not being clued in on the Punk stuff, or not being clued in, being lied to about it. That was a hiccup, but very clearly they're working together and he's working towards that. But this is going to be something that you all see a lot more of, where people get closer to their expiration dates in some cases. Then there are situations like Charlotte, like Rey Mysterio, like Dominic Mysterio, where they have signed well ahead of time. But I mean, I don't believe that Becky, Finn Balor, or Seth have re-signed either, and those are big money deals. Now, the interesting thing about some of these deals, some of them, the number that you will hear about will include their merchandise, their 2K, their Saudi payments, all that stuff. That's why you'll hear such a gigantic number these days. But I mean, he seems to want to go. Whenever anybody posts about this, and Alex, I'm sure you saw it too, people will be like, "Stop even talking about this. He very clearly isn't going anywhere." Keep in mind.
They've spoken with
that was what was doing my head in yesterday. They were like, "Oh yeah," as if they're going to push someone that's just about to leave or is going to be out the door, and oh yeah, like they've just given him a title shot at WrestleMania. Like, fuck me, man. Daniel Bryan had one 3 years ago. Like, there are examples of
Adam Cole.
Adam Cole. There you go. Like, there's just the people online talking as if like because of the way it's booked, it can't possibly be any other way. It's silly. And I mean, I'd heard regarding Drew going back a while. Obviously, we've been talking about his contract for like nearly a year at this point, I think. But creative was a big thing for him as well. Like, we're talking about big money and stuff. I think post-title run coming out of COVID and stuff, I don't think he was thrilled with how he was being used for a long time. So all part of negotiations. I think that's important too. And obviously we're seeing that play out now. Hang on. My partner is killing me here.
A little bit of a Fightful Select plug today, guys. Gonna have some pay-per-view news.
Ooh.
Is it for?
Not PLE news. Pay-per-view news.
I mean, look, Zarian's dropped a hint, so I can drop another hint. Is it RVD +1?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
I have event news up my sleeve as well, which is funny. Maybe I'll bounce it off you, Sean.
Is it that Gary Cassidy is the best of all time at
I
piss-related scoops?
miss Gary Cassidy.
Miss that guy.
Miss him so much.
He was a good egg.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Not to us, damn it.
He left wrestling. He no longer exists. What if I just send this cold to Gary Cassidy? Be like, hey, we're chatting about you. Can you prove that you're still alive?
Some people are on a time constraint this night.
Jesus Christ.
God.
Everybody just drop your scoops on this show, and then, people will realize this show has some type of value, even though no one watches it.
It does have value. It's a good show.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Hey, speaking of, I don't know how much of a scoop this is, but I went ziplining with some of the stars in Perth. Raquel was meant to come. And that morning they were like, shit, we don't even know if she's going to be in the chamber. I know that's been spoken about a little bit, but
yeah,
she had a bad flare up. Do you know who her substitute was going to be?
Who's that?
It was going to be Shayna.
Oh,
it was going to be Shayna was the backup. Anyway, okay. There you go. I'm dropping scoops for you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
I mean, of all that, it's like, Indy was there.
Yeah.
Said Indy.
She was in the title match.
Who gives
Wow. Wow.
I've said my piece on
why are you hating
on the show?
Why are you hating the
I will say
women's
something I was very wrong about, because I said that she should have been in that chamber like a week before the chamber. And I was like, oh, maybe a bunch of people hit Tiffany Stratton with their finishes and then Indy wins. No, after hearing the reaction to Tiffany Stratton, no.
She should have won the chamber, honestly. She should have called an audible right then.
I said this on Twitter the other day. Even the press event the day before, super over. I mean, not Rio over, but like as over as anybody else could have been there. I did not expect it, and it carried over big time.
It's wild.
She's never traveled outside the United States except for the time she traveled to the UK for a wedding that she forgot. She completely forgot about. Everyone watch Anna Bowert's interview with Tiffany Stratton. It's amazing. Amazing. I've sent this link to Gary Cassidy. I don't know if he's actually going to join us. Alex, what's your I guess temperature on Drew, and he's facing Seth at WrestleMania. You think he's going to win the title?
I mean, wouldn't it be funny if he did the CM Punk thing?
So I said this. I said he should win it and then feud with Punk over the summer, and Punk could be like, what are you going to do? Go where the grass is greener? You're going to work with children on Saturday night? Is that what you really want?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, man, if like there was something in play like that. But as I alluded to earlier, I do think it's a combination of he has been doing the best. I mean, I told him a few weeks ago I thought it was the best work of his career, and I meant his WWE career. He says he prefers his work in ICW. There you go. In between WWE runs. But anyway, I think a combination of being rewarded for that, timing, obviously, with different injuries and people being out, he is in the spot he's in. But undeniably, he's probably as hot as he has been in a while. And then on the other side of that, you've got WWE kind of wanting to use him to show him there's a reason to stay as well. So I think it all goes hand in hand, and it could work out for both parties. Do I think Seth needs to be hanging on to that title? Not really. I don't think there's anything obvious, for Seth to drive towards with that belt. I mean, there are hotter people to put it on right now, in my opinion.
Sean, what's your take on it? You seem like you had...
Drew should win. He's the Bet Online AG favorite right now. And I hit them up and I said, good call. Good call. I think that the story is perfect for him to win the title. It gives him his moment, so to speak. I mean,
we talked about that moment. That moment is perfect because he thinks he deserves to be cheered so badly that when he wins and he sees the boos and he's like, why are you booing me? I'm right. And people are just going to be all over him, and it's going to trigger a whole reaction for him going deeper and deeper down this hole.
They might cheer him though.
They might
cheer him,
but that's the problem. But if it's done right and he steals the title or wins the title and people are booing, then like you've got a whole fresh set of storytelling based on this character he's doing. It's great.
I'll be in Philadelphia, and you don't have to guess that I will be cheering that shit.
You're gonna run in the ring with him and hug him like it's Rocky and Adrian. Drew's gonna be like, Alex.
My God. You have to knock over Billy Batty, who's hounding Drew for an autograph right after his thing, and be like, "No, my friend." But
he was my friend first.
The thing that I like about Drew's character, and especially this era, there's some stuff that is like pretty heavily predictable, like the whole Elimination Chamber card, very predictable, but still the booking made sense. Is Alex just frozen? Like, oh, there we go, we got him back. He looked joyous there though. But like, there are some people that are like, oh well, Seth needs to turn on Cody and all that. If he does, Drew can go the I've been the babyface the whole time type of route. Like, there was this story back in the day, I think it was like Pope, Samoa Joe, Sting, Kevin Nash, where the whole time when Hogan and Bischoff came into TNA, they're like, why are you guys cheering them? They're assholes. They're plotting something. And they looked like heels. And then they were right. And they were plotting something the whole time. And they're like, see, look, we were telling you guys the whole time. We tried to save the company. I think that within Drew's mind, his character, he is right. Like, there's not a lot that he's saying that's wrong. He didn't ask the Bloodline to get involved in the Cody match. He's outright asking them to not get involved in the Seth match, to the point to where he's telling Seth, don't get involved with them. I see his motivations as a character as one where people stop believing in him, but he didn't stop believing in himself. And there's an awful lot of routes you can go with that. It's been masterfully done. And you know, there are so many people that are like, oh, well, very clearly the contract hasn't had a damn thing to do with his booking. It hasn't been referenced one time on TV. He's not made any little comments about it. He doesn't tweet. He ain't like bidding war of 2024, any bullshit like that. He just answers the question when it's asked in interviews, and that's it. And then we report on it. It doesn't have anything to do with his current booking from a character standpoint. Like, oh, he's going to win the title and leave. It's never even been hinted at. Not only has he not indicated that he would do that, he's setting up a program months down the line that, you know, in a crazy world in which we do live in, might not even happen. So I think they're doing really great with it.
I just like the idea of Cody Rhodes being the one to walk out at the press conference, put a stack of papers down on the table, sign it, and be like, all right, that's another 3 years. And he's got that title around his waist.
I mean, Cody would never work anywhere without a contract.
No, never.
Especially wouldn't have a belt without a contract.
No.
Wouldn't happen.
Who would
And
do
if
that?
they did, that would be a total work.
Have you sent Cody any good memes lately, Sean?
Let me look. I don't think so. We haven't talked much. I just want to say, I did a full video on that meme. I was right. I was very right about that meme.
Oh no, Sean Ross Sapp's gonna go for the world title next.
I mean, I was. Let's see.
What was the last message you sent Cody?
Okay, I said, me when I'm after scoops and I get a picture of your dog. That would count as a meme. And I sent him a picture of his own dog at one point.
Love the Pharaoh.
And then, of course, the legend, Nancy Kerrigan.
Oh.
And I said, you need to do the right thing to The Rock.
He should have when The Rock came out there with gender defending America and stuff. Mr. America didn't come out there and take any shot at The Rock, just punch him in the face. Coward.
Okay, now just because he's got an American flag tattoo doesn't mean he likes America, okay? He just thinks it looks cool.
And he decides to display it proudly on his neck.
Yes.
All right, Joel has to go. Joel, do you have any final words for our audience before they never see you again?
They will never see me again. Oh, Sean's leaving.
also leaving.
All right, well, I guess that's it for everyone. What are we doing here?
Yeah, listen, that was a great show.
Thanks for joining us, McCarthy.
Great
Showing
show.
up very late.
I mean, I still get my booking fee, right? Okay,
Yes.
Yeah.
You dropped a scoop. We're good.
Yeah.
There you go. That's good payment.
Do you have anything to plug, McCarthy? Please plug anything.
No, not really, man. Unless, obviously, you guys would have seen I was busy out in Australia.
Right.
So if you want to see my interviews, they are on Inside the Ropes. If you want to read them, they're on Daily Mail. But other than that, man, no. Just looking forward to getting out to Philly. Are either of you going to be in Philly?
I will not.
It's leaning towards maybe no, but also maybe if I can figure some stuff out, probably not. But who knows? I never know until like the week.
Why are you always ducking me, Jeremy? You talk about you talking about you want people to punch me in the face. Why don't you ever turn up and do it?
So I do tentatively want to go to London for All In this year, and that's when I don't care about the wrestling show. Who gives a shit about that? The Taylor Swift concert is there, and that's what I want to go see. We'll talk. We'll figure something out. I do want to. I don't like praising you ever. There's no video. There's no exist. This is.
Well, then don't.
Cut this off.
McCarthy knows I love them. Great work in Australia. The interviews are very good. The questions you asked were very good. And anytime you can give me anybody gives me stuff to write about, I appreciate it. But I especially got a lot out of your interviews. One, from just a news perspective, but two, from just a perspective of somebody who listens to a lot of this stuff and gathers information. So just good job, Alex McCarthy. You did good work.
Thank you, Jeremy. I have a full erection after that. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, buddy. We appreciate it.
Thank you, brothers. Love to both of you.
Take care.
Later.
All right, let's get on out of here. I have to go to the hospital. That's what I have to do. So let's get on out of here. Not a downer thing. I had to go visit. So Dynamite is tonight. Sting's last Dynamite. I'm sure it'll be good. Hangman's going to talk about whether or not he's doing Revolution. Sorry, we can't do the full thing. Just a timing thing. Jeremy
I can.
You can do it solo if you want.
You can leave if you would like.
I mean, do you want to do the thing solo and then say goodbye?
Well, Joel, I feel like because it is Sting's final AEW Dynamite tonight live at 8 p.m. Eastern on TBS. You will not want to miss this show, everybody. We have a tremendous lineup for you right ahead of AEW Revolution this Sunday, March 3rd, live only on pay-per-view. But before we get there, we got AEW Dynamite tonight live 8 p.m. Eastern on TBS, February 28th. You will not want to miss this show. It is AEW Dynamite. It is 8 p.m. Eastern. It is TBS. You won't want to miss it because we have a tremendous show for everybody. We have the debut of Will Ospreay, the full-time debut of Will Ospreay in AEW. Will Ospreay is All Elite Pro, and he is coming to AEW Dynamite live tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on TBS before he faces Konosuke Takeshita live Sunday. AEW Revolution, only on pay-per-view. You don't want to miss Will Ospreay live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern on AEW Dynamite. Plus, we have Blackpool Combat Club. It's going to be Brian Danielson, John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli against Eddie Kingston and FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler in trios action on AEW Dynamite live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern on TBS. These men are also going to square off live this Sunday. AEW Revolution, only on pay-per-view, with Brian Danielson faces Eddie Kingston for the Continental Crown, and John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli team up to face FTR. That's this Sunday. AEW Revolution live only on pay-per-view. But before we get there, we got a trios match between these six men live 8 p.m. Eastern on AEW Dynamite. Plus, it's going to be Hangman Page. Hangman Page is going to be on AEW Dynamite live tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on TBS. He is going to address his status for AEW Revolution. You may have seen the scuttlebutt regarding his injury from last week on AEW Dynamite. Is Hangman Page hurt? Is he going to be able to compete in the triple threat match for the AEW World title at AEW Revolution this Sunday, only on pay-per-view? Is he going to be able to face Swerve Strickland and Samoa Joe, the AEW World Champion, this Sunday, AEW Revolution, only on pay-per-view? Find out tonight on AEW Dynamite, 8 p.m. Eastern on TBS. See what Hangman Page has to say ahead of his big world title match at AEW Revolution this Sunday, only on pay-per-view. Plus, it's going to be Chris Statlander and Sky Blue one-on-one. We're going to have a tremendous matchup between these two ladies. It's Chris Statlander. It's Sky Blue. 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite, only on TBS. And Chris Jericho. It's the return of Lionheart. Chris Jericho, as he takes on Atlantis, Lost Under the Sea Jr. It's going to be Chris Jericho, Lionheart Chris Jericho against Atlantis Jr. only on AEW Dynamite, 8 p.m. Eastern on TBS. And all of that. Plus, folks, it is very sad to say it is going to be the final AEW Dynamite at 8 p.m. Eastern, live only on TBS, of the Icon, one half of the AEW Tag Team Champions. It's Sting, one final time on AEW Dynamite live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. You will not want to miss what Sting has to say on AEW Dynamite live at 8 p.m. Eastern on TBS, ahead of his final match at AEW Revolution this Sunday, only on pay-per-view, as Sting and Darby Allin defend the AEW Tag Team titles against the Young Bucks, Matthew Jackson and Nicholas Jackson. That is at AEW Revolution, live this Sunday, only on pay-per-view. It is Sting's last match, AEW Revolution, live only on pay-per-view this Sunday. But before we get to AEW Revolution, and we have a tremendous lineup on AEW Revolution for everybody. It's been a great road to Revolution. You will not want to miss AEW Revolution live this Sunday, only on pay-per-view. It's one of our best lineups ever. We promise you, one of the great lineups, one of the great AEW pay-per-views. AEW Revolution is always one of the best pay-per-views we ever put on for AEW. And the only way to watch AEW Revolution 2024 is to tune in live this Sunday, only on pay-per-view. But before we get to AEW Revolution live this Sunday, only on pay-per-view, it's AEW Dynamite live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, TBS. Tune in, folks. Thank you to all the great AEW fans around the world. We appreciate you. We appreciate you tuning in to AEW Dynamite live at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on TBS. And we appreciate you tuning in this Sunday, AEW Revolution live, only on pay-per-view. Thank you to all the great AEW fans. Justified. This is awesome chant. Joel is usually here to speak and say something. After that, he is not. So I had to kind of let that breathe for a second. All right. I think that's everything. To the person who asked Pile Driver Finisher, yes, you maybe you don't look like Megan Fox, but I can work with that. All right. I'm going to watch more Love is Blind now, because that's what I'm doing with my day. Who cares about this wrestling stuff? Let's plug actual stuff. Spotlight tomorrow, 8:30. I do better plugs for AEW than I do for my own show. Spotlight tomorrow, 8:30. No, Senior Nerd, no. 8:30 a.m. Eastern, live, only on the main channel. We got 2 interviews for everybody tomorrow. We're going to be talking about Revolution. We're going to talk about Cody Rhodes, all that fun stuff. Myself and Steven Jensen. There may or may not be a show on Friday. If there's not, we'll let everybody know. If there is, we'll see you then. But Rob and Maggie Coexisting will be live 3 p.m. Eastern on Fightful Overbooked on Friday. So everybody will at least have a live show. If we do not have In the Weeds, we'll have Coexisting with Rob and Maggie. And that's every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Please watch that show. It's fantastic. It's the best show on this channel. So we appreciate everything Rob and Maggie do. We appreciate everybody tuning in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with us. Thank you guys for the super chats. Thank you. Leave a thumbs up on the video. If you have not done that, please do leave a thumbs up. Come on. Okay, we got the bubble thumbs up. Can we get the fireworks? Come on. Let's get the fireworks. Leave a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it. We're also on there we go. Points to the sign. We're also on all podcast platforms. So if you want to listen in audio form, you can do that as well. You can find us on the podcast. All right, everybody. Thanks, guys. We appreciate y'all. We will see y'all on maybe Friday, if not on Monday. Bye.